Everyone knows you do not barge into a military base. But here I am, flooring the gas on a mobility scooter and charging straight through the gate. What no one realizes is this is the only way I can reach military command. Just days ago, I awakened as a courier, someone who gets forced through a portal into another world. I barely survived a land crawling with zombies, but in 10 hours I will be dragged back to that blood-soaked hellscape. Weak and desperate, my only option is to beg the government for help. And now I finally get what I wanted, a seat in an interrogation room. Captain Vance sits above me behind the bars. You realize that ramming into a military base is a serious crime? I let out a bitter laugh. I know, but right now you are the only ones who can help me. Captain Vance frowns. If you have a problem, call the police. Go to your local community office. Go to the government. You drove into a military base. What exactly is this about? Right now, there is more than enough reason to suspect you are a foreign spy. Facing his interrogation, I shake my head with another bitter smile. I am not a spy. I suggest you have someone examine that tablet immediately. I do not have much time left. What do you mean time? Quit playing games. Captain Vance scoffs, ready to expose my lies. Get the tech division in here with their equipment. The tech team arrives quickly. They pick up the tablet and begin tearing it apart. The moment they see the internal structure, they gasp. This is not any mainstream model. It is not Intel. It is not AMD. This could be a custom-built military machine. I recommend we bring in the country's top experts to crack it immediately. The moment the tech soldier finishes speaking, Captain Vance's expression shifts. He still does not believe me, but he picks up the satellite phone and contacts the National Security Bureau. He requests they bring the nation's best experts. Barely 30 minutes later, an unmarked black vehicle rolls into the base. Deputy Director Drake and Dr. Orion from the National Security Bureau step into the interrogation room. The instant Dr. Orion walks in, his eyes lock onto the tablet. He picks it up instinctively and holds it under the light, studying it closely. Moments later, he begins disassembling it. When he sees the internal structure, he sucks in a sharp breath. This motherboard does not belong to any model on Blue Star. The processor is not silicon-based. It is carbon-based. Deputy Director Drake asks with confusion, what does carbon-based mean? It means this is a technology that completely surpasses anything on Blue Star. It is a highly stable carbon-based nanochip. You could even say it is. Dr. Orion pauses mid-sentence. He turns toward the window. His voice fills with disbelief. Most likely, the product of another interstellar civilization. When Drake hears this, his eyes go wide. Captain Vance's face cycles through one expression after another. This bombshell clashes violently with everything he knows. After a long pause, he slams the table and roars at me. Start talking! The truth! Where did you get this tablet? I meet his furious, half-stunned gaze and say, word by word, from another world. A world full of zombies. The second those words leave my mouth, I see Captain Vance's pupils contract. A heartbeat later, he slams the table again. Nonsense! One more word of this garbage and I will have you court-martialed. Without an ounce of fear, I fire back. Can Blue Star build a carbon-based computer? Does Blue Star have this kind of technology? And I am telling you, I am out of time. I have not slept in 3 days. The moment I fall asleep, I cross over again. This time, I might never come back. As I speak, the light fades from my eyes. Yeah, if the military does not believe me, the next crossing could very well be when I die. Beside Captain Vance, Deputy Director Drake snaps out of his shock. Hearing my words, he immediately asks in a low voice, what do you mean? Explain yourself. There is a countdown burned into my retinas. When it hits 0, I get forced through a portal into that zombie-infested world. Right now, I have 7 hours and 58 minutes left. Drake falls into deep thought. When Captain Vance notices Drake seems to be half believing me, he blurts out, Drake, you are not actually buying this, are you? But Drake, still deep in thought, ignores him. He picks up the disassembled tablet and turns to Dr. Orion. In your opinion, is this from Blue Star? Dr. Orion shakes his head. His voice trembles with barely contained excitement. Blue Star? It is not that I look down on Blue Star's technology, but give Blue Star another 50 years and it still could not build this. A few hundred years, maybe. This is alien technology without a doubt. Drake lowers his head in silence. After a moment, he looks up at me. I believe you, but do not make me regret this trust. Be worthy of this nation's trust. Then Drake picks up his secure phone. Hello? This is the Deputy Director of the National Security Bureau. I have an urgent matter to report. I need immediate authorization to deploy the Hazmat Corps. After hanging up, Drake turns to me. Now tell me everything you know. Sitting in that chair, watching this unfold, the tension I have been carrying finally breaks. I pour out everything I know. 2 days ago, a countdown suddenly appeared in front of my eyes. When it hit 0, a blue portal materialized before me. It pulled me in. When my vision returned, I was standing in a silent, dead city. Zombies, the kind you only see in movies, were everywhere. On the back of my hand, a 12-hour countdown appeared. At first I was excited, thinking it was all a dream, none of it real. But then I tripped and fell, and the searing pain drilled deep into my skull. That was when I knew. This was no dream. I had truly crossed over. I spent the next 12 hours running for my life in that zombie world. Only when the 12-hour countdown ran out did I finally return to Blue Star. I have this gut feeling. The moment I fall asleep again, I will most likely be pulled back into that nightmare world. That is why I have stayed awake for 3 days straight. I cannot hold on any longer. So I brought the tablet and came to find you, hoping the nation could help me. As my last word fades, the room falls silent again. Everyone seems to be digesting this impossible story. Drake is the first to snap out of it. He calls in 2 hazmat soldiers to quarantine me and run a blood test. But right at the end, Drake asks one more question. How did you get here? I took the bus. Then at the gate, I bought a mobility scooter from the shop across the street and drove it in. The second those words leave my mouth, Drake tenses, sweat beads on his forehead. Do you have any idea? If you were carrying a virus, the entire bus route, the streets, maybe the whole city could have been wiped out. Thankfully, my blood test results come back quickly. No infection detected. Drake finally lets out a breath of relief, but he does not drop his guard. Once the hazmat corps arrives, he orders everyone who has had contact with me into quarantine. Then comes the thunder. Several massive helicopters roar in. Director Kane, the head of the National Security Bureau, arrives as the highest-ranking authority. He looks at me, dead serious. You can really cross over? After receiving my firm yes, he pats me on the shoulder. How long does the portal stay open? Can you bring heavy weapons through? I do some quick math and answer. It only stays open for about a minute. After that, I get pulled in by force, and the portal vanishes. It is roughly 2 meters tall, 2 meters wide. Heavy weapons probably will not fit. Director Kane then asks about conditions on the other side. I tell him zombies are everywhere, no survivors spotted so far, and the entire city is silent as a grave. I have 6 hours before the next crossing. Director Kane listens, then falls into deep thought. After a moment he turns to Drake and issues his orders. Deploy Wyvern Squad, Raptor Squad, and Phantom Squad immediately. Attach the National Integrated Research Team, an Environmental Analysis Unit, and a Medical Unit. Everyone wears sealed combat suits. On top of that, we cannot underestimate the risk of a biological breach. Under the cover of a nationwide nuclear strike drill, activate Level 1 protocol. Every top-level nuclear bunker across the country enters standby mode. Duration, 1 week, starting now. Execute immediately. 30 minutes later, the entire nation erupts. Countless television screens broadcast the same message. Nuclear strike drill commencing immediately. Every phone blares a red alert. A nuclear strike defense drill is now underway. Please remain calm. All citizens, please cooperate. Inside the base, armored vehicles roar to life. Rows of fighter jets streak across the sky. Personnel in lab coats suit up in specialized gear and arrive at Southern Command Base. Phantom Squad, Raptor Squad, and Wyvern Squad board military transports, fully armed, and converge at the base airfield. Director Kane stands at the front in full uniform, facing the assembled troops. Soldiers, you are about to carry out an extremely dangerous mission, one that concerns the fate of humanity. Anyone unwilling to go may step out now. I swear there will be no consequences. Those who choose to stay, write your final letters now. The nation will deliver them to your families. The entire assembly goes silent, nothing but the sound of rapid breathing. These soldiers run missions all the time, but they have never been told to write farewell letters. This means the mission is truly, terrifyingly dangerous. The death rate must be staggering. After a brief silence, one soldier pulls out paper and a pen. Mom, Dad, your son has failed you. If I do not come back, please do not grieve for me. I only did what a soldier is supposed to do. When he finishes, heavy tears roll down his face. He signs his name and solemnly places the letter in a steel box. Then a second soldier, a third, a fourth. One by one they drop their farewell letters into the box. 7 or 8 minutes later, Director Kane seals the box shut, hands it to his aide, and looks out at the soldiers. His voice is rock steady. Soldiers, every single one of you is outstanding. You are not marching to your deaths. You are marching toward the nation's hope. Just days ago, a citizen of this country accidentally gained the power to open a portal and cross into another world. Crossing over? A portal? Is this for real? Are we in a sci-fi movie? Murmurs ripple through the special ops ranks. Every single one of them has the same doubt. But soon, Director Kane delivers another bombshell. The world on the other side has been completely destroyed by zombies. It is extremely dangerous. And that citizen has already completed his first crossing, confirming everything I just told you. But the virus's transmission mechanism is still unknown. We have no detailed intelligence on conditions in that world. So your core mission is to escort him on the next crossing, collect data and samples. Above all else, keep him alive. Understood? Understood. Director Kane turns to me. How much time is left on your countdown? 5 hours 30 minutes. Get some rest. Leave the rest to us. Director Kane calls every squad leader into the briefing room and begins laying out the detailed battle plan. Meanwhile, a manual titled Zombie World Survival Manual is being printed at breakneck speed. Over 90 million copies roll off the presses in a single night and are distributed to citizens across the country. The next morning, I stand on the assembly airfield surrounded by Director Kane and the 3 elite squads. I stare at the countdown before my eyes. 4, 3, 2. The instant it hits 0, a blue light radiates from my vision. About a meter ahead, it solidifies into a shimmering curtain of light roughly 2 meters across. Every eye in the crowd goes wide, locked on the portal in front of me. Sheer disbelief spreads across their faces. It is real. The portal is actually real. Every squad leader stands in stunned silence. Even Director Kane's eyes go wide. But just seconds later, his expression snaps back to steely composure. He turns to the squads. Special Ops, prepare to enter. Research team, follow. Remember, protect him at all costs. Once the Special Ops soldiers are through, the research team rushes in carrying their equipment. Finally, Director Kane looks at me. Stay safe out there. This time the nation stands behind you. The other world, here I come again. But this time, I am not alone. My country stands at my back. As I step through, the blazing blue light flickers and rapidly folds shut. My vision goes dark. When it returns, I am standing in a dead silent city, crumbling walls, rubble everywhere, and sprawled across the ground, several long-dried corpses. The research team swarms in around them. Begin tissue sampling. The soldiers who entered first are already establishing a perimeter. I take a deep breath, same location as last time, so the crossing point is fixed. Commander Reyes, the overall squad leader, points to a cluster of fresh corpses nearby. Just took out a few zombies. Their weak point is the head. Once you destroy the central nervous system, they go down for good. By the way, what is your countdown this time? I glance at the timer on my retinas and exhale. 24 hours. Commander Reyes thinks it over for a moment. Once the research team finishes sampling, we move out immediately. A little over 10 minutes later, the research team wraps up. A soldier rushes up to Commander Reyes. Report, no survivors nearby. A zombie horde to the west is moving south. Fewer zombies to the east. Recommend we push east. Commander Reyes nods. All squads listen up. Wyvern squad takes point. Raptor squad covers the rear. Research team stays in the center. Phantom squad on standby for support. Move east. Before long, the group pushes roughly 2 kilometers eastward. Along the way, they encounter plenty of mindless zombies, all dispatched one by Wyvern squad. Then they pass a bookstore. Commander Reyes eyes the building. Search the shop, you have 20 minutes. The team kicks in the door. I pick up a magazine from the cluttered shelves. On the cover is some kind of advanced mechanical device. This world's technology is at least on par with Blue Star's, and in some areas far beyond it. Commander Reyes nods. His men quickly find several electronic devices. The research team pulls out recording equipment immediately. They begin documenting everything on video. Then they catalog the recovered books and footage. When the work is nearly done, Commander Reyes orders over the radio. Time is up. Everyone, pull out now. The research team and soldiers are just about to leave when a sharp crack echoes from above. Everyone looks up. A weathered wooden sign on the second floor sways in the wind, then breaks free and crashes to the ground with a thunderous bang. The sound echoes across the entire city. Zombies across several nearby blocks hear the noise. Their eyes flash. They let out bloodthirsty shrieks and charge toward the bookstore at full speed. Commander Reyes's pupils tighten. He grabs the radio and barks out orders. All operators prepare to engage. The 20-plus soldiers snap into formation in an instant. Every muzzle aims at the entrance. The research team and I are shielded behind them. I hold my breath. A few heartbeats later, over a dozen rotting zombies round the corner. They sprint toward the bookstore. Their speed matches a normal human sprint. Commander Reyes's eyes flash. He signals everyone to attach suppressors. They take aim at the incoming zombies and open fire. Pap, pap, pap. Bullets sink into zombie skulls with pinpoint accuracy. Black fluid sprays out. In just a few seconds, every single zombie drops to the ground. Commander Reyes radios the next order. Deploy stealth recon drones. Several operators spring into action. They flip open portable terminals and launch a flight of stealth recon drones. Silver discs rise silently into the air. On the screens, an overhead view unfolds. Another wave of zombies floods the streets outside, heading straight for the bookstore. Roughly 30 of them. The drones keep scanning. Soon the team spots something encouraging. Aside from those 30 or so heading their way, the other zombies farther out have already lost track of the source. They wander back to where they came from. Everyone lets out a quiet sigh of relief. Not bad. Just 30-something left. No big deal. The zombies pour in, and one by one, bullets punch through their foreheads. In moments, they are wiped out. Once the area is clear, the research team rushes to collect tissue and blood samples. But a researcher quickly discovers that after a bullet destroys the brainstem, all neural activity stops. However, the zombie blood remains highly active. The virus inside is still alive. Inject this blood into anyone, and they will turn in minutes. Commander Reyes immediately issues a new order. Except for the research team, no one is to make contact with zombie blood or flesh. If you do, report it immediately. With every attracted zombie confirmed down, the group continues to advance. The stealth drones maintain a high-altitude watch. I stare at the feed coming in, collapsed buildings, dried corpses as far as the eye can see. I ask Commander Reyes quietly, do you think anyone is still alive in this world? Commander Reyes studies the screen and pauses. Maybe, but if there are survivors, there cannot be many. Night falls. The team sets up camp in a wrecked supermarket. I sit on the floor, gazing out the window at a city without a single trace of life. It is eerily silent. Beside me, Commander Reyes cradles his rifle and looks up at the sky. Yeah, look at that moon. It is way bigger than Blue Star's. And the arrangement and brightness of the stars completely different from Blue Star. I follow his gaze upward. Unfamiliar stars shimmer in the darkness. Then Commander Reyes's radio crackles. Commander, something is off out here. You need to see this. Commander Reyes instantly straps on his night vision goggles and looks outside. I do the same. About 300 to 400 meters out, several twisted figures roam the streets. Compared to daytime, the zombies are far more agitated. They are also moving noticeably faster. The research team approaches with blood and tissue samples and whispers. Based on blood activity fluctuations, we believe their physical capabilities at night roughly double. They also enter a frenzied mental state. The threat level jumps significantly. Commander Reyes's face hardens. He splits his men into 3 rotations for night watch. The next day, once the zombies slow down again, the team pushes forward. Before long, they find a weathered corpse inside an apartment building. A bullet hole in the skull, blood splatter on the wall behind, and a pistol on the floor beside it. The research team confirms it is safe and bags the pistol as evidence. Nearby, they also find an old journal covered in unfamiliar writing. The research team secures it. The team presses on and soon reaches a perimeter wall. As they climb over, every single pupil contracts. In the plaza ahead, a dense, swarming mass of zombies, at least 1,000. I instinctively hold my breath. I glance at Commander Reyes. His expression has gone tense. He raises his binoculars. Among the 1,000-strong horde, a handful stand out. Their skin is no longer deathly pale. Instead, it is a sickly blue-green with muscles bulging under the surface. Even in daylight, they move with alarming agility. Their eyes are not fully clouded over. They can detect movement around them. Commander Reyes lowers the binoculars and signals the team to advance in silence. When they reach a parking garage, my countdown reads just over 20 minutes. Commander Reyes immediately designates this as the extraction point. He orders the soldiers to hold a perimeter and wait in silence as the minutes tick away. Soon my countdown reaches 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Before my eyes, a sphere of blue light erupts again, condensing into a shimmering portal. Rear guard, hold position. I step through first with the research team. Commander Reyes then directs the remaining soldiers through in order. On the other side, my vision blacks out again. When the light returns, I am back on Blue Star. Under Director Kane's command, I am immediately escorted into the isolation chamber. Right behind me, every returning soldier enters individual isolation pods. Saturation decontamination follows. Only after everything is cleared does the disease control team report to Director Kane. No infection detected. Decontamination complete. I step out of the chamber, but the moment I do, I overhear Director Kane speaking gravely to those around him. Something does not add up. Given that world's level of technology, a virus like this alone should not have been enough to wipe them out. There must be another reason. Have the decryption experts arrived? They have. Get them working on the materials we brought back immediately. After Director Kane finishes issuing every directive, he finally turns to me. How long on your countdown? I check the timer and blink in surprise. The countdown has changed. The last 2 times it was 24 hours. This time it is 48 hours. I report this to Director Kane. He considers it for a few seconds. That is actually a good thing. You can get proper rest and we can prepare more thoroughly. He then heads back to the command center and quickly issues an official directive. Phase 1 of the zombie world operation is complete. No virus breach detected. The nationwide nuclear strike drill is hereby terminated. As the order goes out, every news outlet and social media platform blasts the announcement. Hundreds of thousands of citizens who participated in the drill erupt in celebration. People hug each other, crying with relief. I was terrified. I thought we were actually going to war. Thank God it was just a drill. Once a war starts, who knows when it would end. Meanwhile, hundreds of linguists are working around the clock in the research building, poring over the alien script. Before long, through the combined effort of hundreds of experts, a writing system resembling ancient Blue Star languages takes shape. A translated document lands in front of me. It describes a single, isolated continent surrounded entirely by ocean. On it exists only one nation, the Astral Empire. The Astral Empire enforced a brutal caste system. An entire family starving to death was nothing unusual. The Emperor ordered the development of a compliance serum, a drug to make people obedient. But what the scientists created instead was a neurovirus. It stripped the infected of all reason. They stopped eating, stopped drinking, yet kept moving and obeyed every command. One imperial scientist wrote in his notes, "We naively believed we had found the key to controlling humanity. Instead, we forged a cursed spark that devours the soul." When the Emperor learned of the results, he was ecstatic. Loyalty does not require reason. No reason is even better. Obedience is the only true reason. He ordered the infected to be converted into generators. In prisons, they were fitted with hoods and specialized gloves, then strapped onto treadmill generators. They generated power day and night without rest. During an inspection, the Emperor laughed. Even in death, they serve the nation. Now that is loyalty. He then built power plants across the country, strapping mindless infected onto spinning wheels to generate electricity non-stop. Eventually, he turned on his own people, rounding up countless citizens, infecting them, and throwing them into the plants. In the end, 80% of the population became infected. The Emperor believed he had harnessed an eternal power source. He did not realize he had lit the fuse to hell. When the enhanced zombies began acting in organized groups, the power plants started failing one after another. The army crumbled against the infected. The Emperor had fed an entire civilization's flesh and blood to a new ruling species. Later reports described advanced infected learning to cooperate, learning to climb, learning to think. In that moment, I knew it was over. All of it. I set down the document. A strange, indescribable feeling washes over me. An entire empire crumbled just like that. That afternoon, Dr. Orion tracks me down. The decoded materials include a map. 200 kilometers north, there's a core lithography plant and a fusion energy center. Based on the items and data you brought back, their carbon-based chip lithography processes and fusion technology are at least 50 years ahead of ours. That lithography plant very likely contains the Empire's most advanced technical systems. If we can retrieve even a portion of that data, it could mean a quantum leap for Blue Star. so I strongly recommend you head north on the next crossing. After seeing Dr. Orion off, I receive another notice from Director Kane. The next crossing point is being relocated to Lop Nur. A plane is already on its way to pick me up. Before long I am in the air, staring out the window. The irony is almost cruel. A civilization with technology far beyond ours, and they just had to chase a compliance drug and dabble in biological weapons. Soon, the plane touches down. I step off into a blast of hot wind and swirling sand. A young woman approaches. Hello, I am Dr. Serena. I will be serving as your psychologist. I turn to Commander Reyes, who has been waiting here for a while. He grins. You are a top priority national asset now. They are worried you might get rattled over there. Mental health matters. This lady is the psychologist the nation assigned specifically to you. I shake my head, half amused. I check the countdown. 2 hours left. Once I enter the base, 15 specialized off-road vehicles stand in formation. Dr. Serena speaks up beside me. Command has outfitted you with full capability off-roaders this time. The team has been expanded to 40 operators. That is how seriously the nation takes your safety. I run my hand along the vehicle's hull. Thick, sturdier than any vehicle I have ever seen. The windows are ballistic, glass. A bullet could not even scratch them. Soon, as the team assembles, my countdown nears 0. The base intercom begins counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. A blue portal blazes open before my eyes once more. Commander Reyes gives the order. The special ops vehicles roll through first. I exchange a look with Commander Reyes, then follow. The research team is right behind us. My vision goes dark again. When it clears, I am back in the zombie world. But this time is different. I appear directly in the parking garage where we left off last time. From the driver's seat, Commander Reyes issues orders over the radio. Raptor Squad takes point. Phantom Squad on the rear. Research team and I ride center. Wyvern Squad covers the tail. Objective, the Fusion Energy Center, 200 kilometers north. Once every unit confirms receipt, the convoy moves out. The roar of the engines draws nearby zombies. The lead vehicle floors the gas and smashes several zombies aside. Mechanical whirring sounds from the roof mounts. Drone after drone launches into the sky, scanning the surrounding area. Terrain data streams in real time. Once everything is in place, Commander Reyes turns from the monitors and asks me, how long is the countdown this time? I glance at the timer. 3 days. Commander Reyes raises an eyebrow. That long this time? I smile. After these last few crossings I have a feeling. A few more trips and I will be able to control exactly when the portal opens. Commander Reyes' eyes light up. Seriously? If you can actually control the timing, we would not be at the mercy of a countdown anymore. We could cross over whenever we want. I give him a playful wink and say nothing, letting him figure it out. But just as we are chatting, a sentry calls over the radio, directing us to look southwest. Commander Reyes and I turn at the same time. A little over a kilometer away, a Titan, 20 meters tall, lumbers forward. Trailing behind it is a pack of blue-skinned, heavily muscled mutants. I suck in a sharp breath. Zombies can actually evolve to this level. Commander Reyes immediately orders the convoy to widen the gap. They veer off the planned route and take a detour. Once the Titan disappears from sight, Commander Reyes grabs the radio. Nobody let your guard down. The appearance of a Titan means this virus is far more terrifying than anything in the intel. There are dangers out here we cannot predict. Everyone stay sharp. Proceed with extreme caution. He lowers the radio and looks out at the dead city. Do you ever wonder if there is more to this outbreak than just things spiraling out of control? Take that Titan just now. I strongly suspect it was a living weapon, deliberately engineered by the Astral Empire. A weapon that eventually turned on its creators. I listen to Commander Reyes and fall into silence. The sky gradually darkens. In the dim distance, scattered points of light appear. The radio crackles with the teammate's voice. Commander, 12 o'clock. Looks like there are people up ahead. Should we check it out? If it is a survivor settlement, we could learn a lot more about this world. Commander Reyes considers it for a few seconds, then shuts it down. Keep moving. Do not get sidetracked. Our target is the Fusion Energy Center. The convoy pushes on. 2 hours later, the Fusion Energy Center finally comes into view. Roof-mounted drones launch to scout the interior. The facility's interior appears on the monitors. A massive reactor core, toppled. Towers collapsed. Bones scattered everywhere. Heavily damaged military hardware. Evidence of a brutal last stand. Once the drone sweep is complete, Commander Reyes orders a forward operating base established. Perimeter team stays with the vehicles. Report any contact immediately. Everyone else, on me. The group advances along the main corridor, zombie shrieks echoing off the walls. A few zombies pick up the noise and charge. The soldiers drop them instantly with suppressed fire. Soft pops and the zombies crumple. Commander Reyes follows the signs on the wall, leading the team to the Fusion Center's main control room. After clearing out the zombies, the research team files in. From the surviving records, they learn this facility was built over a century ago. At that time, the Astral Empire had a once-in-a-generation genius known as the Father of Science. He single-handedly solved the 10 great challenges of nuclear fusion, catapulting the Empire's fusion technology decades ahead. This plant became a national marvel. The team then moves toward the energy core. The research team pulls out their sampling gear. A middle-aged researcher stares at the core materials, barely containing his excitement. The core technology and thermal shielding here are far beyond anything on Blue Star. I need to bring samples back for study. The research team sets up recording equipment. They document every inch of the core zone. As sampling continues, the researcher grows even more animated. The material layering is incredibly stable. It has natural stability and radiation resistance. On top of that, they used a crystal with superconductive properties. If we can bring these samples back home, the Republic's nuclear energy program will leap forward. Full-scale practical fusion might even become possible. Those words set the entire research team on fire. Every one of them dreams of making a breakthrough for the nation, of leaving their mark in the history of science. The researcher immediately directs the team to begin cutting material sections. They load the samples into sealed containers. Just as the sealing wraps up, an alarm crackles through Commander Reyes's earpiece. 2 Titans detected to the southeast, moving at 6 kilometers per hour, currently 1 kilometer out. Estimated arrival, 10 minutes. Commander Reyes's face darkens. He barks the order. Deploy anti-tank high-explosive mines immediately. Stand by to cover our withdrawal. He turns to me and the research team. All researchers, fall back now. Retrace the route back to the vehicles. The order drops and everyone scrambles to move. 30 seconds later, we burst out of the energy core. I am gasping for air, running behind the group. The closer we get to the exit, the more the ground trembles beneath our feet. A dozen seconds later, an explosion rips through the air from the direction of the convoy. I know exactly what that means. The mines have detonated. The Titans are right on top of us. Everyone picks up the pace. By the time the second blast hits, we are back at the convoy. I yank the door open and throw myself inside. Commander Reyes floors the gas. The engine roars. I twist around and look toward the blast site. 300 to 400 meters back, 2 Titans charge forward, bellowing in rage. Shrapnel clings to their bodies as they barrel toward the convoy. Commander Reyes immediately orders the convoy to pull out. The Titans are massive, but not particularly fast. Within seconds, the convoy opens up a gap of 500 or 600 meters. Commander Reyes watches the monitors, thinking for a moment, then grabs the radio. Convoy, reduce speed, match the Titan's pace. We are running field tests. Research team, record everything. The convoy slows. A soldier leans out the window and shoulders an anti-materiel sniper rifle, taking aim at the Titan. A thundering shot rings out. The massive round slams into the Titan's forehead, punching out a small crater. But the Titan just shakes its head and lets out a furious shriek. It keeps charging. The crater on its forehead is already closing up at visible speed. I stare, jaw on the floor. The research team's trembling voice comes over the radio. That is a regenerative pheromone cascade. This is not a random mutation, it was absolutely engineered. Commander Reyes goes silent for a few seconds, then issues a new order. Switch to high-explosive armor-piercing rounds. The gunner on the roof swaps ammunition in seconds. Another booming shot. A burst of sparks erupts from the Titan's forehead. The creature staggers and drops. But a heartbeat later, it is back on its feet. The surface tissue on its forehead has been blasted away, revealing a layer underneath that gleams like metal. The research team shouts in disbelief. That is biometallic tissue. The virus has directly rewritten the crystalline structure of the cells. This is beyond anything we have ever seen. Commander Reyes does not hesitate. Switch to mortars. The soldiers set up a mortar and fire several rounds straight at the Titan. After a string of thunderous explosions, the Titan collapses again, only to rise once more. It resumes its charge toward the convoy. Only patches of its body now show that metallic gleam. The research team delivers their verdict quickly. Conventional weapons are ineffective. The Titan's structural integrity is off the charts. Recommend trying fire. Commander Reyes orders immediately. Prepare a thermobaric charge. All vehicles pull back to safe distance. A small mushroom cloud erupts into the sky. Thousands of degrees of heat blast outward. Scorching waves of air slam into us. When the fire and heat dissipate, the Titan's outer tissue has been charred to a crisp, and yet it is still alive. It wobbles to its feet and starts wandering aimlessly. The research team reports over the radio. The Titan's visual and olfactory systems have been destroyed by the heat. Based on the Titan's cellular regeneration rate, it will take roughly 2 days to recover. In other words, extreme heat can significantly reduce the threat for a limited window. Commander Reyes nods and orders, launch tactical drones. Deploy white phosphorus and thermite rounds. Several drones lift off from the convoy rooftops, loaded with ordnance, heading straight for the remaining Titan. With a sharp whoosh, the white phosphorus and thermite rounds detonate. Searing flames engulf its body. The Titan lets out an agonized howl. Within moments, it loses both sight and smell. It stumbles around like a headless chicken. Test complete. Commander Reyes immediately orders the convoy to accelerate and pull out. He sets the Starlight Lithography Center as the next destination. They race forward. 1 hour later, they reach the target. The team pries open the warped alloy doors. Inside, total devastation. Battle scars everywhere. Shattered bones litter the ground. Commander Reyes picks up a cracked wafer and hands it to the research team. A researcher examines it for a moment and gasps. This is a carbon nanotube precision array. From this alone, we can conclude they were capable of stable nanoscale mass production. Another researcher steps forward, studies the equipment, and speaks up. This is a quantum auto-calibration system. Their machines required no human operators. The machines corrected their own errors. The team pushes deeper inside. Row after row of sleek, futuristic lithography machines stretch out before them. The research team runs diagnostic scans. Results come in fast. The startup system is destroyed, but the control logic is intact. The core component is an oscillation interference array, and it is fully preserved. If we bring back just a few samples, our nation's chip development will skyrocket. No more technological stranglehold. A flicker of satisfaction crosses Commander Reyes's eyes. He assigned soldiers to help dismantle key modules, seal them in containers, and prepare to push forward. Just then, an urgent voice crackles over the radio. Commander, survivors approaching, 3 individuals. No weapons detected, everyone freezes, actual survivors. Even Commander Reyes looks caught off guard. He immediately sends Phantom Squad and the research team to make contact, while pulling up a live drone feed. On screen, Phantom Squad and the research team face the survivors across a gap of a dozen meters. One of the survivor men crouches and writes on the ground. After translation, they learn he wants to trade gold for water and food. Phantom Squad refuses the gold. They toss over some supplies instead and begin asking questions. They learn the Titans are not the strongest things out there. There are even more terrifying zombies, though these survivors have never actually seen them. The 3 come from a tiny settlement of only 30 to 50 people. As for what caused the outbreak, they know nothing at all. Phantom Squad sends the 3 on their way. The full team regroups with Phantom Squad and heads to the lithography plant's raw materials mining zone. Here lies a rare deposit of superconducting carbon ore. The research team collects samples, planning to attempt synthetic replication back on Blue Star. With all objectives met, the team returns to the convoy for rest. I lean back in my seat as a heavy wave of exhaustion crashes over me. I drift into a deep sleep. When I wake up, only 5 minutes remain on the countdown. The convoy is already in position, ready to go. Commander Reyes taps my shoulder with a grin. Rise and shine. Time to head home, right? I nod sheepishly. The instant the countdown hits 0, the familiar blue portal unfolds before my eyes. The vehicles roll through one by one. My vision goes dark. When the light returns, I am standing inside the underground isolation chamber at Lop Nur. Above, the speakers blare, all vehicles confirmed returned. All personnel stand by. Initiating saturation decontamination. A stinging white fog engulfs the convoy in an instant. Once it clears, Commander Reyes and I step out one after another. The research team immediately reports their findings to command. Commander Reyes delivers the mission debrief. The moment Director Kane learns about the Titans, he makes a decision on the spot. Next crossing, forget the off-roaders. We are rolling in main battle tanks with the latest armor-piercing shells. The entire room goes silent. Main battle tanks are the Republic's frontline heavy armor, loaded with armor-piercing rounds. Their firepower is devastating. Mortars do not even come close. But Director Kane is not finished. He also orders them to bring the ultimate infantry weapon, the nuclear rocket launcher. This weapon's blast yield equals 600 sticks of TNT. When the room hears this, jaws drop. To keep us safe, the nation is pulling out weapons of this caliber. After leaving the briefing room, Dr. Serena sits me down for a chat, a 30-minute counseling session. When she learns the next crossing is 5 days out, she immediately gets me 4 days of leave. Then, accompanied by Dr. Serena and 2 Phantom Squad operators, we go hiking. Halfway up the mountain, I gaze down at the city lights stretching to the horizon, lost in thought. When we reach the summit, the sun is just rising. I let out a shout, releasing every ounce of fear that has been building inside me. Afterward, we head back to Shanghai. This is the city where I grew up. But barely a few hours after landing, I run into my ex-girlfriend. She is arm in arm with a man in a designer suit. Marcus. The second Marcus spots Dr. Serena. His eyes light up. I am about to walk away when he blocks my path. Marcus walks straight up to Dr. Serena, stares at her face, and lets his greed show. Name your price. 100,000, 300,000, 500,000, you name it, I will pay. A woman at your level is truly rare. I glance at my ex. She lets out an awkward smile but keeps her arm locked around Marcus. So this is the power of money? Fine, 1 million. When Dr. Serena does not even flinch, Marcus raises the number, visibly irritated. In his world, there is no woman money cannot buy. But he freezes when Dr. Serena, as if she never heard the million at all, hooks her arm through mine. She turns to my ex without a care in the world. So this is your ex? Not that impressive. With that, she ignores the fury on both their faces, takes my arm, and walks away. That evening, Dr. Serena and I are chatting about old memories when a Phantom Squad operator leans in and whispers, "Someone is coming after you. We have already contacted the nearest security bureau. Your safety is not an issue." I nod calmly, giving nothing away, and keep talking with Dr. Serena. 10 minutes later, security agents arrive and take down the suspects in seconds. Under interrogation, they reveal they work for Marcus. Because Marcus lost face on the street earlier that day, he sent men to teach me a lesson. When Director Kane hears about this, he is furious. This will not slide. He immediately orders a full investigation into Marcus and his father's criminal activities, uprooting their entire network of connections. Within days, Marcus and his father are thrown behind bars. My break is just about over. With 2 days left on the countdown, I head back to Lop Nur with Dr. Serena and the others, and regroup with Commander Reyes to prepare for the next crossing. On the final day, I see 10 main battle tanks and 10 armored vehicles lined up across the base. My heart pounds. Commander Reyes walks me through. Every tank and every armored vehicle carries custom-built loadouts with the latest defensive systems. The instant the countdown hits 0, the blue portal blazes open once more. Tanks and armored vehicles thunder forward. I sit inside the tank's command station and key the radio. Countdown this time is 3 days, plenty of time. Let us go hunt those Titans and see what real firepower does. Commander Reyes gives the order. Radar sweeps to maximum range. The convoy rolls forward. Before long, they pick up a Titan on the scope. Drones launch. Live footage streams into the tank. The Titan lumbers through a horde, its body still covered in large patches of charred skin. The very same one from before. The research team gasps. Incredible. That kind of cellular vitality. Just a few days and it has nearly fully regenerated. Commander Reyes issues the command. Tank 1, take aim. Main cannon, fire. A deafening blast. The shell hits dead center. The Titan's skull is punched clean through. Its head explodes. It staggers and crashes to the ground. Dead silence. Not a twitch. The entire convoy exhales. Cheers erupt over the radio. If even a tank round could not take it down, they would have had to rethink everything. The research team can barely contain their excitement. They propose clearing out the entire horde to study the Titan's internal structure. Commander Reyes approves. He orders the armored vehicles forward. Rocket launchers and heavy weapons unleash a storm of fire. The horde is wiped clean in minutes. Commander Reyes then orders drones out to sweep for stragglers. Once the all-clear is confirmed, the research team, escorted by Phantom Squad, moves in beside the fallen Titan. Through the drone feed, I watch the researchers pull on gloves. They tap on the Titan's body. A sharp metallic clang rings out. They run a scanner over the surface and report bone density exceeds standard alloys, equivalent to at least 300 millimeters of armor plating. I need to cut a section for analysis. The precision saw fires up. Before long, a 30-centimeter slab of shell and flesh is sealed into a carry case. Sampling complete. Everyone mounts the armored vehicles and pushes forward. They do not get far before radar picks up a cluster of survivors. Drones confirm it is the same group from last time. The tanks turn toward them. When the two groups meet, the same man who traded supplies steps forward. Through the translator device, we learn his name is Duke. Duke says he means no harm. The survivors lower their weapons. Phantom Squad clears them. Only then do I climb down from the tank. Wyvern Squad operators immediately form a perimeter around me. Duke's gaze lands on me. He steps forward. He clasps his hands in gratitude. Thank you so much. The supplies you gave us last time saved our lives. No need to thank us. Just some water and food. By the way, where are you from? Duke says they come from a small survivor settlement to the west. They ventured out to scavenge for food and followed the explosions to investigate. He asks where we come from, saying he has never seen such powerful weapons. I smile. I come from a very faraway place. We are here to assess the situation as well. Duke stares at the tanks and armored vehicles behind me, eyes full of envy. Your weapons look incredibly powerful, stronger than anything I have ever seen. These were all developed by our nation, and we have even more powerful ones. Duke's face fills with shock. There is something even more powerful than this? After a pause, Duke reveals the real reason he is here. Do you have any food left? Our base is nearly out. I have gold. I can trade gold for supplies. I wave him off, then call over a soldier and hand Duke a bundle of water and food. Duke's hands tremble as he thanks us. Thank you. Thank you. The tank convoy rolls toward the next objective, heading southwest to the mining zone. After 7 or 8 hours, we finally arrive. Phantom Squad holds the perimeter. Raptor Squad and Wyvern Squad fan out to collect ore. The research team gathers data. Before long, the team has secured roughly 2 tons of ore, including spirit carbon and hypercrystal, along with a number of rarer mineral samples. Contact? Zombie, 200 meters out, Commander Reyes shouts. I look up. In the distance, a regular zombie charges toward us, but the next second, an armored vehicle rolls over it, crushing it to pulp. With 1 hour left before the portal opens, the team has already wrapped up the mining operation. Everyone sits on the tanks and armored vehicles, chatting. Solid haul this time. Not only did we take down a Titan, we got Titan tissue samples, plus all this ore. Once these samples hit the labs, the nation's tech level is going to skyrocket. I glance around at the group. Every single face is beaming. I smile too. Before long, as time ticks away, my countdown hits 0. The portal opens once more, its blue light shimmering before the group. But this time, something inside me feels different. I focus my mind, make it bigger. The edges of the blue light actually expand. Now smaller. The expanded edges shrink back. My heart slams in my chest. I try again. The portal truly responds to my will. I focus on closing it, then opening it again. The blue light actually shuts down, then blazes back to life. The soldiers standing beside me freeze as they watch the portal close and reopen. Finally, Commander Reyes asks, his voice shaking, "You can control the portal now?" I answer, barely containing my excitement, "Yes." Commander Reyes erupts with joy. This is no longer a random portal. It is a stable cross-dimensional gateway. This is an epic-level breakthrough. This means the entire national strategy may need to be rewritten. The country will develop faster than ever. A whole new era. Once the excitement settles, everyone drives the tanks and armored vehicles through the portal. My vision goes dark. When it returns, I am back at Lop Nur. After a full round of saturation decontamination, Commander Reyes immediately reports the breakthrough. The nation responds swiftly with a directive, establish Lop Nur as the hub, and formally build the cross-world operations base. 1 week later, over 1,000 researchers arrive. Military-grade construction expands the site by 100 kilometers. Dozens of buildings rise from the desert floor. 2 heavy combined arms brigades move in. My understanding of the portal also deepens. By controlling energy flow, I can set the portal to 3 modes: lockdown, one-way, and two-way. On Wednesday, I receive orders, report to a massive staging plaza, and open the portal. The moment I step onto that plaza, my jaw drops. A sea of personnel stretches in every direction. Rocket launchers, tanks, and armored vehicles line up 7 or 8 columns deep. I even spot a missile launch vehicle over 10 meters wide and 20 meters long. Once the shock passes, I realize the nation is gearing up for a full-scale deployment into the other world. Otherwise, they would never commit 2 entire heavy combined arms brigades. I pour everything I have into the portal. A portal over 100 meters wide blazes open across the plaza. The iron flood roars to life. Vehicles pour through in formation, crossing into the other world one after another. 1 week later, I stand on the observation platform at the heart of the Otherworld base, looking out at a site transformed beyond recognition. The brigades chose their position well, setting up on the outskirts of a city near the mining zone, close enough to the city to salvage urban resources, and right next to the mines for easy extraction. But that is not the main point. What matters is that the military construction corps has also crossed over, building at a furious pace. In just 5 days, they erect a satellite launch facility. Drone swarms are deployed for a comprehensive planetary survey. But perhaps so many people gathered in one place draw too much attention. The zombies sense the living. From the city, a massive corpse tide of 7,000 to 8,000 surges toward the base. Satellites detect it instantly. Alarms blare. General Ward, the overall commander in the Otherworld, immediately orders 1 heavy combined arms battalion to the forward line. For absolute certainty, rocket launchers and tanks also move into position. Once the zombies enter optimal firing range, he orders the long-range artillery to unleash a saturation bombardment. Through the drone feed, I watch over a dozen armored vehicles open their rear hatches, revealing rows of shells. They fire on the zombie horde more than 10 kilometers out. Dozens of small mushroom clouds erupt across the swarm. Zombies are pulverized in the blasts. Minutes later, the guns fall silent. The observation post reports, no life signs detected in the target zone. Corpse tide confirmed eliminated. Is this the true power of the Republic? It is terrifying. A horde of nearly 10,000 zombies wiped out before they even got close. I seriously wonder how those zombie movies were ever made. How could any nation fall to zombies? Unbelievable. Over the following 2 weeks, military construction continues at a breakneck pace. Radar arrays, railgun defense towers, AI auto patrol turrets, a field hospital, and a munitions factory all go up one after another. In less than a month, this patch of suburban wasteland has become the skeleton of a proper military base. Every morning, dozens of vehicles roll toward the mines. Every evening, they return fully loaded. Spirit carbon, hypercrystal, and other strategic minerals flow through the portal back to Blue Star in a steady stream. Meanwhile, at the National Research Institute, Dr. Blake grits his teeth at the latest test results. Another failure. The Eagle's stranglehold on lithography materials is brutal. At the current rate of material restrictions, catching up to the Eagle will take at least 50 years. The gap is massive. Just as they are racking their brains over how to break through the blockade, the office door bursts open. A researcher rushes in. "Director! New materials just arrived, called spirit carbon ore and hypercrystal ore. They say these can be used directly for lithography." Dr. Blake freezes. He thinks he misheard. "You must be joking. What material could possibly perform direct lithography? That is a fantasy." He refuses to believe such a thing exists. But when he sees the spirit carbon ore catch the sunlight, emitting a faint blue glow with what appears to be crystals flowing inside, his pupils contract. He lifts the ore under the lab light and studies it closely. The longer he looks, the more the excitement builds on his face. After a long silence, he looks up. "Where did this come from?" The researcher answers carefully, "Classified." Dr. Blake raises an eyebrow. "With my clearance level, is there really anything I am not allowed to know? Unless this is alien technology?" He lets out a soft laugh and his eyes sharpen. "Fine. I do not care where you came from. As long as you can conduct and supply energy, I will make you the brain of the Republic's lithography machine." He grabs the ore and marches toward the testing bay. Meanwhile, inside a small survivor settlement in the Otherworld, Duke is speaking excitedly to the leader, Griffin. "Chief, I ran into those people again. They are truly different. After the apocalypse, we all know how disgusting humanity can get. Forget helping strangers. Just not robbing them is already above average. But these people helped us twice for nothing. They refused our gold. They are saints." "Nonsense. There are no saints left in this world. Those people definitely have an agenda. We just do not know what it is yet. Chief, you have not seen them. You cannot feel that pure, genuine energy coming off them. If they turn out to be bad people, then let the world burn." Right then, a violent series of explosions rocks the air outside. The entire base shudders. Debris rains from the ceiling. A guard bursts in, panicked. "Chief, it sounds like a battle outside." Griffin looks up, his expression shifting dramatically. "That sounds like artillery. Heavy artillery. This scale of fire is at least half a corps firing at once." "Impossible. The Empire fell 50 years ago. Even if remnants survived, they could not sustain this kind of firepower. This is divine punishment. Take a few men and go scout." Duke and a handful of survivors creep toward the source of the explosions. As they get closer, the shock in their eyes grows heavier with every step. In the distance, an iron flood coils like a steel dragon, unleashing saturation bombardment on a zombie horde. The zombies crumble like paper targets under the onslaught. Even the monstrous titans are no exception, reduced to piles of shredded meat under the barrage. Duke and his men stare, eyes wide, utterly frozen. Where did this army come from? This is terrifying. They are wiping out zombies like it is a game. Duke snaps out of it. Move. We need to report back to the chief. But the moment Duke's group turns around, 7 or 8 armored vehicles screech to a halt behind them in a cloud of dust. Fully armed soldiers hop out. Dozens of laser dots settle on their bodies. Then an older soldier steps forward. The translator device emits a cold, mechanical voice. Hello? Our commanding officer invites you for tea. Duke follows the soldiers into the military camp. The moment they step inside, they are struck speechless. Rows of tanks and armored vehicles sit in neat formation. Hundreds of rocket launchers line up in a massive grid. The air is thick with the smell of gunpowder. Soldiers march past with crisp, disciplined steps. Duke's eyes sting with tears. This is safety. A feeling of civilization and order he has not felt in a very long time. When he enters the command tent and sees me sitting with the commanders over tea, he freezes. It is you! I thought that small squad was all you had. I never imagined you commanded a force this powerful. By the end of his sentence, his eyes are filled with pure awe. He cannot fathom that everything he just walked past, the fighter jets, the heavy artillery, the advanced weapons, all belong to the same group. Power like this, even the Astral Empire at its height could not have matched it. I greet him with a smile, then introduce the man beside me. This is our commanding general, General Ward. Duke looks at the imposing middle-aged man and immediately tenses up. Hello, he stammers. General Ward looks at the fidgeting young man from another world and smiles warmly. Relax. Sit, sit, sit. I actually have a few things I would like to ask you. Duke only gets more nervous. Sir, I am not tired. I will stand, thank you. You have got to be kidding. In front of the leader of an army this powerful, does he dare sit? If this were an official of the old empire, Duke would not have even earned a glance. General Ward does not push it. He continues. What is the current state of your settlement? How many people? What are the living conditions like? Our settlement still has around 3,000 people, but our food supply is nearly run out. A lot of survivors have already cut down to eating once every 2 days, and from what I know, other settlements have already started trading children for food. General Ward thinks it over. All I need is people willing to work. Supplies are not an issue. Safety is guaranteed. 8-hour shifts, 5-day work week with weekends off. Roughly 1 day of work earns a week's worth of rations. Duke goes blank for a few seconds. He can barely believe it. He asks again, terrified it is a hallucination. Really? General Ward laughs. Relax. Of course it is real. I have even set aside some entertainment products for your people. General Ward stands and leads the group to a warehouse. The lights flick on. Mountains of daily supplies, plus televisions, air conditioners, and gaming consoles. Duke's jaw hits the floor. He slaps himself hard across the face to make sure he is not dreaming. These are for us too? That is right. All of it. When Duke hears those words, heavy tears stream down his face. For a long moment he cannot stop. Then he jerks his head up. A light he has not felt in years flashes in his eyes. I need to go tell the chief. Meanwhile, back at the survivor settlement, has Duke's team returned yet? Griffin sits at his desk, asking another subordinate anxiously. Chief, there has been no word from Duke. Hearing this, Griffin's expression darkens. In the apocalypse, no word means death. That is the cruelty of this world. Chief, my daughter is dying. Please come look. A woman in her 40s bursts in, face twisted with panic. The group rushes to a cramped room, the instant they step inside. The stench of damp, rot, and decay fills their lungs. On a straw mat lies a girl, barely a teenager. Her shin is wrapped in rough cloth, but dark brownish fluid has seeped through. Underneath, the unmistakable smell of decaying flesh. One glance is all it takes. Griffin knows the girl is beyond saving. Deep infection. In an apocalypse without medicine, this is a death sentence. Griffin turns to the mother and silently shakes his head. Leave it to fate. The mother hears those words. She does not scream. She does not shout. She simply walks to her daughter and strokes her cheek. Tears flow without end. Griffin's heart aches too. He pulls his own daily ration from his coat, sets it on the ground, and leaves in silence. He climbs to the highest point of the settlement and stares out with hollow eyes at a base on the verge of collapse. No medicine, no food, no water, and outside, the zombies. They cannot hold on any longer. Just as Griffin considers disbanding the settlement entirely, rapid footsteps pound up behind him. He turns. It is Duke, the one they thought was dead. He is about to speak when Duke bursts out, face lit up with excitement. Chief, we are saved! We are really saved! Saved? What do you mean? Remember those people who gave me free water and food? Their main force is here now, absolutely massive. Tens of thousands of troops. That artillery we heard, that was them. Their firepower is insane. Rows and rows of tanks and armored vehicles, at least 1,000, plus helicopters, rocket launchers, you name it. And they have supplies to spare. They are offering supplies in exchange for labor. 8-hour shifts, weekends off. Is this for real? They could be con artists. Lure everyone over, then squeeze them dry and toss them aside. Duke hears the doubt and laughs. If they wanted to harm us, they would not need tricks. These are civilized people, and their strength speaks for itself. If they wanted to use force, we could not stop them anyway. Griffin falls into deep thought. Duke is right. If the other side truly has that kind of power, whether they trust them or not barely matters. After sorting his thoughts, Griffin makes the call. Send the word to everyone. Emergency assembly. All scavenging teams return to base immediately. We are moving. As Griffin's order goes out, People crawl out of ruined tents, tin shacks, and straw huts. When they hear the words 8-hour shifts and weekends off, they think they misheard. You have got to be joking. It is the end of the world and someone is offering benefits like that? We did not even have that before the apocalypse. Clocking out at 10 at night used to be a luxury. Hearing the doubt from the crowd, Griffin does not lose his temper. I know everything I just said sounds like a dream. Impossible in your eyes. But it is real. Duke saw it with his own eyes. They are a real military, not remnants of the Empire. They have discipline. They have firepower. They have food. And most precious of all, they have medicine. If you trust me, follow me. Griffin picks up his weapon and walks out. Duke follows. Then a third person, a fourth, a fifth, a 10th, a 100th, a 1,000th. Nearly every single soul in the settlement follows. 2 hours later, the survivors arrive at the Blue Star base in the other world. When they see the rows of tanks and armored vehicles and the disciplined soldiers, every single one of them freezes. Especially when they see the sick and wounded being treated on the spot by medics. Injections administered. Wounds cleaned. Every eye turns red. For the first time, they realize that in this apocalypse, civilization truly still exists. The survivors are escorted to a resettlement zone. They see rows of tidy yards. They step inside and find every amenity they could ask for. Hot water heaters, televisions, air conditioning, even gaming consoles. Am I dreaming? Quick, slap me. Let me know if this is real. Griffin is no different. Seeing amenities that only existed in dreams, he slaps himself hard across the face. Once he confirms it is not a dream, his eyes go red. It is real. It is all real. In the days that follow, the survivors report for work each day, saving the military a tremendous amount of manpower. Griffin and Duke are personally invited to join the military staff as local advisors, and a systematic integration of other survivor settlements begins. Some settlements, despite harsh conditions, still held on to basic humanity. These groups the military takes in directly, bringing them into the resettlement zones, but other settlements have long since lost their humanity entirely. Trading children for food was the mild end. Many had taken to calling the elderly and disabled livestock. Children under 10 were called prime livestock, praised for their tender, flavorful meat. General Ward's order for these settlements is simple: total annihilation. Commander Reyes receives the order and immediately leads 2,000 soldiers, over 200 tanks, and wipes these settlements off the map with saturation bombardment. Once the cleanup is mostly done, I sit in the command center, staring at a brand new countdown that just appeared. 72 hours. My eyes go wide. I grab the radio. Patch me through to General Ward. The line rings. Hello? General? A new countdown just appeared on my end. I have a feeling this time it leads to an entirely new world. The moment those words land, General Ward's breathing quickens on the other end. What? A new world? Over these past weeks, the Republic scientific community has achieved one breakthrough after another, all thanks to the new materials. A working carbon-based lithography machine has been built. Nuclear fusion has entered a new phase. The entire nation has entered a period of rapid advancement, and every bit of it traces back to one young man. Now that young man has encountered something new, the nation will not stand by. Besides, this could be another opportunity. General Ward immediately orders me back to Lop Nur to stand by. Before long, Phantom Squad, Wyvern Squad, and Raptor Squad reassemble. Commander Reyes arrives too, and claps me hard on the shoulder. Well, I thought we were done working together. Did not expect to be back in the field this soon. Honestly, I would rather skip this one. I just want to lie on my couch. Time flies. 72 hours vanish in a blink. Commander Reyes turns to his operators. All personnel, equipment check, now. Over 20 soldiers run through their gear in seconds. Comms green, ammo full, armor nominal, all confirmed. I let out a slow breath, watching the countdown tick towards 0. Time is up, prepare to move. The familiar blue portal unfolds once more. Wyvern Squad, scout ahead. Copy. 7 soldiers step through the light. A report crackles over the radio from Wyvern Squad. Environment normal. Air quality normal. All clear. Move out, Commander Reyes commands. The research team and the other 2 squads file into the portal. I follow close behind. After the light folds shut and vanishes, General Ward stares at the empty space where everyone disappeared. Come back safe. On the other side, my vision returns from darkness to light. Before me stretches an open wilderness. In the distance, crumbling bell towers dot the horizon. Commander Reyes asks, how long on the countdown? I check. 5 hours. About the same as your first crossing into the zombie world. That one was short too. Right. But the moment my words leave my mouth, a dull gunshot echoes from the distance, followed by several more. Bang, bang, bang. Every head snaps toward the sound. Instant alert. Commander Reyes raises a tactical hand signal and orders in a low voice. All units, activate infrared scanning. Maintain formation. Advance. When the team reaches an open plain, the sight before them stops everyone cold. A squad of soldiers is protecting a group of villagers, locked in a desperate battle with enormous insect creatures. The creatures are covered in thick chitinous armor, with long, razor-sharp fangs. Small caliber rounds bounce off them uselessly. I snap out of the shock. This time, we have landed in a world under insect siege. Commander Reyes quickly scans the swarm. Roughly 30-plus creatures, source unknown. Could be an interstellar-class swarm or planetary class. If it is interstellar, these things can cross between star systems and devour civilizations. If that is the case, this planet is done for. A planetary-class swarm, we can still fight. I observe their gear. They are still using conventional weapons, about 50 years behind ours. Just then, the soldiers fighting the swarm seem to spot us. One of them calls out desperately, "Hey, can you help us? We are about to be overrun." My expression freezes. What the? They are speaking our language. They are speaking the language of the Republic. Everyone freezes. Commander Reyes snaps to action. Regardless of who they are, saving lives comes first. Phantom Squad battle formation. Fire for effect. Copy. Phantom Squad deploys heavy weapons, aims at the swarm cluster, and unleashes a devastating barrage. High explosive rounds rain down on the creatures. The giant swarm beasts, under the crushing force of the explosions, are ripped apart instantly. A single volley, and the once ferocious swarm is completely annihilated. The rescued soldiers rush over and snap to attention with a crisp salute. "I am Captain Thorne, 38th Company, Thunder Corps. Thank you for the assist. Which corps are you with?" Commander Reyes looks at the blood-streaked face and those resolute eyes, and instinctively returns the salute. In the brief exchange that follows, both sides can feel it. The same blood, the same spirit. But when Captain Thorne's gaze sweeps over our equipment, landing on the high-energy assault rifles and the latest generation exoskeleton armor, his brow furrows. Our gear is obviously far too advanced. Commander Reyes is thinking the same thing. He can already tell this place is definitely the Republic, but a devastated version of the Republic. But how do you explain who you are? Just come out and say you are from another world? Would they think we are insane? That is when I step out of formation. I extend my hand to Captain Thorne. "Hello. We are from the Republic, in another world." When I calmly speak those words, the entire field goes dead silent. You can hear the wind. Wolf stands frozen, his expression shifting from disbelief to shock to utter stupefaction. "You said, another world's Republic?" The soldiers behind him exchange stunned looks. Sharpen takes a breath all around. Some refuse to believe it. Others have a spark of excitement in their eyes. Wolf stares at me, his voice hoarse. Are you sure this is not a joke?" I do not look away. I nod solemnly. Their equipment, their bearing, that unmistakable aura of a different technological era make Wolf want to laugh it off. But he cannot. This gear, this firepower. If you told me it was not from our world, that actually makes sense. He immediately pulls out his military terminal and contacts his superiors. "Report to Battalion Command. A unit claiming to be from an alternate world republic has appeared here. Equipment completely different from ours. Extreme firepower. Requesting further orders." Less than a minute later, the battalion commander is just as stunned. "Say that again? From another world?" 10 minutes later, the report has climbed through every level of command. Brigade Commander, Corps General, all the way to the Supreme Council of the Swarm World Republic. Inside the Capital Command Center, every light is burning. A white-haired man in a general's uniform shoots to his feet. "They claim to be from another world's republic?" "Correct, sir. This is Supreme Commander Hawthorne, the highest authority in the Swarm World Republic." At this moment, his expression is grave. Beside him, a staff officer rattles off the situation report. "Sir, 6 months ago, an unknown meteorite crashed into the Pacific. The swarm erupted from the ocean floor. The infestation swept through the seas. Multiple southeastern coastal zones have fallen. Western nations are on the verge of collapse. We are defending on all fronts. If this intelligence is accurate, they may possess technology beyond our comprehension." Supreme Commander Hawthorne speaks in a low voice. "Establish a video link immediately." Minutes later, Wolf hands the terminal to me. On the screen, an elderly man with deep wrinkles and blazing eyes appears. "I am Supreme Commander Hawthorne of the Republic Central Command." His voice is deep, tempered by a lifetime of war. "You say you are from another world's republic?" My gaze is steady. I nod. "Yes. My name is Kai. We truly come from another world. A republic much like yours, but without the swarm." The entire war room falls into silence. Hawthorne stares at the screen, silent for a long time. A staff officer pulls up identification results and whispers, "Sir, facial recognition, iris scans, fingerprints, none of them exist in our database. Equipment design is entirely different from ours. Their technology path diverges significantly from ours, and the gear shows no signs of being reverse-engineered. Assessment, they are very likely telling the truth." Hawthorne slowly sinks back into his chair, eyes deep and contemplative. "No identity records, yet they speak our language. Equipment unlike ours, yet equally advanced and effective. It seems they truly are warriors from another republic." I look at the communications screen, at that weathered, unyielding face, and speak with calm sincerity. "I have noticed you are currently facing a swarm crisis. Our arrival here was actually a coincidence, but our time is limited. In about 2 hours we have to return to our world. We expect to be back within a week." Hawthorne nods slowly, a trace of regret crossing his face. "That is too tight. You will not make it to Central Command in time." Just then, Dr. Sage steps forward. His tone is crisp and decisive. "Then let us start with a technology exchange. We will share our current research directions and breakthroughs. Next time we return, we can jump straight into joint development." Those words make Hawthorne's eyes light up. He nods immediately. "Good, excellent idea." He turns to his staff. "Compile our core research files immediately. Energy, weapons, defense systems, and mecha technology." Before long, Chief Research Scientist Dr. Wren appears on the other side of the screen. He looks like he has not slept in days. yet his eyes still burn with intensity. This is a partial overview of the Republic's current research. Dr. Wren holds his terminal up to the camera. After the swarm outbreak, we consolidated all scientific resources under Project Dawn. Our primary focuses are high-energy particle weapons, defensive barriers, mecha technology, and reverse engineering of swarm genetics. The files were compiled under emergency conditions and are not fully comprehensive, but they should give you a clear picture of where we stand. Dr. Sage does not hesitate either, uploading the files he prepared. They contain a technical overview of the carbon-based technology framework, superfusion energy core, spirit carbon and voidshine stone energy applications, as well as synthetic starch, hypersonic missiles, the Type 055 destroyer, and nuclear-powered carriers with electromagnetic catapult systems. As both sides finish exchanging data, the research terminals on both ends display confirmation prompts simultaneously. In that moment, the technology trees of the Swarm World and Blue Star's Republic connect for the very first time. I glance at my watch. Just a reminder, we have about an hour before we have to head back. Hawthorne's voice carries a quiet weight through the comms. Kai, on behalf of the Swarm World Republic, I thank you for coming. You have brought us hope. I smile. We share the same roots. Helping is only natural. We will discuss next steps when I return. By the way, is there a relatively secure staging area nearby? Wolf answers immediately. Yes. 30 kilometers from here we have the Thunder Brigade's forward base, solid terrain, strong defenses. It would make an ideal temporary return point. There are vehicles nearby. Let us drive. Under Wolf's escort, our group, myself, Dr. Sage, and the rest, along with the villagers Wolf had been protecting, pile into vehicles and head for the base. Wind whips sand from the ridgelines. Smoke from distant battles still hangs in the sky. When we arrive, the final seconds on my retinal countdown tick to 0. A brilliant blue gateway slowly opens on the clearing. I turn and look back at Wolf. See you next time. With those words, I step through the gateway with the team. Blue light flickers, and our figures vanish into the air. Wolf stands rooted to the spot for a long time, staring at the empty sky. He murmurs under his breath, I hope you really do come back. The Swarm World. Republic Central Research Center. Deep into the night, the entire building blazes with light. Screens flicker, instruments hum. The place is a sleepless steel furnace. Dr. Wren stands at the main console, fingers trembling as he scrolls through the data just received from the other world. Voidshine stone, frost blue crystal, phosphor carbon mother ore. 3 exotic minerals that do not exist in their world glow blue on the data panels. He whispers to himself, this cannot be explained by material science. This is a miracle that transcends the limits of civilization. He keeps scrolling. Synthetic starch too. With the swarm ravaging the land, this technology is critical. And the Type 055 destroyer and nuclear-powered carrier with electromagnetic catapult. Unfortunately, the oceans have become a no-go zone. Then he spins around. His voice shakes with emotion. Everyone, it looks like the mecha technology framework we have been dreaming of can finally become a reality. In an instant, the entire research hall erupts. Scientists who had been running on fumes, awake for 3 days and 3 nights straight, leap to their feet, eyes bloodshot. Can it really work? As long as the Voidshine Stone's energy density checks out, our reactor design can achieve self-sustaining power. The mecha program is coming back to life. Project Raise is restarting. The air fills with a mix of excitement and tears. In a world ravaged by the swarm, they had fantasized time and again if only they could build a real mecha legion. Maybe they could tear open a lifeline for humanity through the swarm. Meanwhile, back on Blue Star, Dr. Sage sits at a holographic desk in the research center, eyes locked on the screen, fingers flying as he dissects the data from the swarm world piece by piece. When he opens the file labeled Project Raise Mecha Experimental Framework, his pupils contract. They have actually built a complete theoretical mecha framework. He tears through hundreds of pages. His heartbeat nearly drowns out the computer's hum. Armor materials, structural mechanics, hydraulic muscle fiber, neural synchronization interface. It is all there. Dr. Sage cannot help standing up. His breathing is rapid. The only bottleneck is energy. Energy density is too low. Their mecha can only sustain 5 minutes of combat. The next second, he slams the desk and laughs out loud. Perfect. That happens to be our specialty. The old fire reignites in his eyes. If we build a microfusion reactor using Voidshine Stone and Frost Blue Crystal, supplemented by the quantum energy channeling properties of phosphor carbon mother ore, their mecha will no longer be a 5-minute toy. It will be a steel titan built for sustained combat. He begins recording his ideas on the holographic screen, murmuring as he writes, They have the structure. We have the energy. They have the combat systems. We have the materials. When 2 worlds' technology converges, the true age of mecha will begin. On the screen, 2 civilizations' technology trees unfold side by side, gradually overlapping, filling each other's gaps. A new label appears at the center, Cross-World Joint Initiative, Project Thundershine, codename, Dual World Joint Mecha Program. Dr. Sage lifts his head. Blue light reflects in his eyes. They made it this far not just through brilliance but through the sheer will to keep fighting at the edge of extinction. He flips through the files and finds an appendix in the Swarm World Republic's research report, Stellar Titanium, a metal 10 times stronger than tungsten steel, with toughness that holds firm even in extreme cold. Dr. Sage reads the name aloud, Stellar Titanium. Genuine admiration crosses his face. No wonder they could support a mecha framework. The disaster in their world forged its own kind of miracle. Meanwhile, my countdown restarts. The cold blue marker pulses on my retinas. 5 days. I take a deep breath. I already know, this time, what we face is not just exploration. It is a rescue mission. Inside the Republic's Central Command war room, the atmosphere is heavier than ever. Under the joint decision of Director Kane, General Holt, Marshal Yun, and others, the directive is issued. On my next crossing, rush strategic materials to the swarm world. Priority shipments of voidshine stone, frost blue crystal, spirit carbon, and phosphor carbon mother ore. Energy and defense infrastructure come first. The supply lines at Lepnur run around the clock. Military cargo trucks shuttle through the darkness. Inside their holds, mineral crystals from the zombie world. A sliver of light for human civilization. Combat engineers whisper as they load. Word is these things can power a reactor. And build mecha. Classification is as high as it gets. Ask too many questions and you will be writing a self-criticism report. Hey, if it really is for mecha, then it is worth every bit of it. Meanwhile, the Republic's top research institutes and major universities begin receiving classified data packages from a national-level project. The file titles read, Project Ray's Mecha Engineering Framework, Joint Experimental Edition. None of the files mention where they came from. At the National Polytechnic Institute's High-Energy Mechanical Research Lab, a titan in the field of robotics, Professor Sterling, sits at his workbench flipping through the hundreds of pages. At first he skims casually, but when he reaches the design schematics for hydraulic muscle fiber linkage structures and neural synchronization feedback control systems, he freezes. He pushes up his reading glasses, muttering to himself, fingers trembling. This theory is decades ahead. It completely overturns our existing approach to electromechanical control. When he reaches the final page and sees the core armor material, stellar titanium, his brow furrows even deeper. Stellar titanium? We have never heard of this material. Could it be a theoretical construct? He keeps turning pages. The entire document is rigorously structured, airtight. Even with the unknown core material, the overall framework is scientifically self-consistent. He pauses, then a flash of insight strikes. The power system's weakness is the only gap. But if you fill it with voidshine stone, frost blue crystal, and phosphor carbon mother ore, the energy density becomes entirely viable. A perfect fit. A wry grin crosses his face. Do not tell me the higher-ups actually found alien technology on the far side of the moon. The moment those words leave his mouth, he calls his entire team to action. Project Ray's Mecha Initiative. Full commitment starts now. 3 days. I want a first draft power supplement proposal on my desk. Scenes like Professor Sterling's play out across the nation. Research institutes, engineering labs, military factories. Wave after wave of top minds plug into the Project Ray's refinement effort. They work day and night, breakthrough after breakthrough. And every result, every advance is funneled directly to Dr. Sage. He stands in the glass corridor of the research center, watching the city lights shimmer outside. The corner of his mouth curves upward. 2 worlds' technology trees are merging. He whispers, Project Rays. The true steel dawn has begun. The crossing deadline finally arrives. Morning mist still clings to the research campus. Professor Sterling has just finished an all-night calculation session and is about to make himself a cup of tea when rapid footsteps approach outside. Several agents in dark coats with specialized insignias push through the door. The lead agent's expression is stern, but his tone is deeply respectful. Professor Sterling, your work in mecha control and human-machine integration is unmatched in this country. The nation has an extremely important mission and needs you to lead it. But I must be upfront, the mission is dangerous. Classification is the highest level, and once you accept, you may have to disappear from public life for a very long time. Professor Sterling blinks. From his youth to his old age, he had always dreamed of working on something that could change the course of history. In this moment, he understands. This is that opportunity. He does not hesitate. I accept. The moment he signs the confidentiality agreement, a quiet thrill runs through him. The scratch of pen on paper feels like the turning of fate itself. Immediately after, he is escorted into a sealed briefing room. The head of the Bureau's Special Task Division hands him a top-secret document. Professor Sterling opens it. The very first line stops him cold. Project Origin, Alternate World Republic, Objective Joint Project Ray's Mecha Program. Alternate World. He cannot help repeating it. His voice quivers. The file contains detailed intelligence on the swarm world, the crossing protocol, and the progress of the bilateral technology integration. As he turns page after page, Professor Sterling's shock gradually transforms into fervor. So that is it. This Project Ray's framework did not come from nowhere. It was forged by another republic fighting for survival in the face of annihilation. The Bureau Chief nods. Correct. Their world is currently in the grip of a swarm crisis. Central Command has decided to send a science team. You will serve as one of its leaders, crossing over to the swarm world alongside Kai to jointly develop the mecha framework with their republic. Professor Sterling is silent for a few seconds. He stares at the document bearing the Republic Central Command's crimson seal. A warmth he has not felt in years rises in his chest. To witness the technology of 2 worlds standing side by side within his lifetime is the honor of a lifetime. He straightens his back, eyes resolute. That afternoon, a military helicopter lands on the rooftop of his institute. The rotor wash scatters his white hair. He turns and looks back at the building that has been his home for decades. Old friends, he says softly. This time, I am going somewhere much farther to chase a dream. Soon after, he arrives at a military airfield and boards a transport plane. Destination, Lop Nur. The night at Lop Nur is impossibly quiet. The sky stretches wide, filled with stars. Wind carries sand from the distant test zones, bringing a sharp, dry chill. I walk through the courtyard, steps slow, thoughts heavy. The countdown has entered its final phase, but there is not an ounce of ease in my heart. Suddenly, a familiar voice sounds behind me. You look like something is weighing on you. I turn around. It is Dr. Serena. She is still wearing that white lab coat. Her long hair drifts gently in the night breeze. I let out a bitter smile. Yeah, the last world was the zombie world. Dangerous, sure, but that kind of despair I could handle. This time is different. I lift my eyes to the night sky. Starlight reflects in my gaze. Over there is a republic just like ours. Same language, same blood, same flag. Watching them be swallowed by the swarm, it does not sit right with me. I pause, my voice dropping. Dr. Sage was right. If the swarm is truly an interstellar intelligent species, then no matter how hard we try, it might just be a drop in the ocean. Maybe this time, we are up against something that simply cannot be beaten. Wind sweeps through the silence, stirring the sand at my feet. My voice carries a restrained exhaustion. Dr. Serena watches me quietly. After a moment she speaks, her voice gentle. It is not in vain. I look up into her eyes. They are bright, like the steadiest star in the night sky. The human spirit can conquer anything. That is not just a slogan. Even if the ending is defeat, the struggle itself is what matters. She smiles softly. Besides, if they share our roots, then they have also inherited our spirit. Never yield. Never surrender. That is something written into the blood. I stand still for a few seconds. Finally, a smile I have not worn in a long time breaks across my face. You are right. No matter how dark the road ahead, we should be the lamp. At least let them see that another world's republic stands ready to fight beside them. Dr. Serena nods gently. Wind brushes through her hair. In that moment, her smile is warm and bright. The crossing draws closer and closer. Inside the underground isolation chamber at Lop Nur, everything has entered the final countdown. Cold white lights flicker across the chamber walls. The air crackles with a tension that sets every nerve on fire. I glance at the countdown on my retinas. The numbers pulse in the reflected blue light like a beating heart. All units, take positions! Commander Reyes barks the order, his voice ringing with steel. Wyvern Squad, Raptor Squad, Phantom Squad, 3 of the Republic's most elite special ops units, are now assembled and ready. Every operator's armor surface glows with tactical identification beacons. Exoskeleton frames hum with a deep, steady drone. Dozens of Type 100 main battle tanks line the launch corridor, barrels forward, ready to cross over at a moment's notice. Tank treads grind against the floor, low and heavy, like war drums thundering underground. On the research team's end, dozens of researchers led by Dr. Sage and Professor Sterling have finished their deployment. Their mission, to join forces with the Swarm World Republic scientists and advance the next phase of mecha development. Dr. Sage glances at me, takes a deep breath. This time, we are not just bringing hope, we are bringing the future. Professor Sterling pushes his glasses up, eyes focused. Project Raise is about to truly begin. I look around at everyone and speak slowly. Listen up. This time, we are not just explorers. We are the Republic's envoys. We go to unite two worlds' technology and ensure that humanity's flame is never extinguished by any disaster. Meanwhile, in the Swarm world, a makeshift military base on the outskirts of Jinling is locked in a desperate fight. A swarm tide rolls in from the horizon like a black tsunami, dense enough to blot out the sky. Wolf stands at the front of the defense line, his armor long since stained black with swarm blood. Fire zones 1 and 2, sustain barrage. Do not let those aerial creatures get close. Captain, the swarm is hitting too hard. The men cannot hold much longer. A soldier, covered in wounds, rushes forward. His voice is raw. Wolf grits his teeth and roars. Cannot hold? Then hold anyway. Even if only one of us is left standing, this base does not fall to the swarm. Remember what Kai said. They are coming back through here. He raises his assault rifle and shouts to every soldier. Soldiers! While we breathe, the base stands. While we breathe, the base stands. The cry echoes across the line, merging with the roar of artillery. A wall of flesh and blood holds the line against an ocean of swarm creatures. The sky burns red with fire. Blood and shattered armor paint a scene from hell. And on the far side of reality, inside the Lop Nur underground chamber, the final second ticks. The portal opens. Boom! A blue-white energy vortex ignites the night sky like a falling star. The blinding radiance bathes the entire Lop Nur base in brilliant light. A violent energy storm kicks up waves of dust across the ground. Soldiers instinctively raise their arms to shield their eyes, shock and anticipation on every face. Countdown initiated. The broadcast echoes through command. Portal stable. Clear to enter. Phantom Squad, move! Commander Reyes roars, leading 16 operators in Type 100 tanks. Wyvern Squad and Raptor Squad follow, war machines thundering into the gateway. Right behind them, my vehicle carrying Dr. Sage, Professor Sterling, and the research team's core members. Behind us, supply trucks loaded to the brim race forward. Their holds are packed with crates of voidshine stone, frost blue crystal, and spirit carbon core rods. The hope of two worlds. The blue-white energy surge is nearly boiling now. Everyone knows every second is a race against the clock. Move, 30 seconds left. The final supply truck's taillights vanish into the light. The portal's energy begins to fluctuate, ripples spreading like water. Closing countdown, 10, 9, 8. The light begins to contract. A deep resonant hum fills the air. Then, with a final pulse, the portal snaps shut. Only the wind remains, and the scorching remnants of energy scattered across the ground. The base falls into a brief silence. Everyone holds their breath, staring at the now empty void. Marshal Yun, commander of the Western Theater, stands by a distant bunker. His gaze is deep as iron. He slowly removes his cap and murmurs, "Come back safe." The instant my Type 100 tank roars out of the portal on the other side. Boom, boom, boom. Deafening artillery drowns out the world. The air reeks of metal and char. The ground heaves under the blasts. Countless swarm creatures shriek and thrash in the firelight. A frantic voice crackles over the radio. "Caution! This zone is under active swarm assault. We are supporting the defense line." Then a hoarse but steely voice cuts in. "You finally made it. It is Wolf, captain of the White Rainbow Battalion." I look up. On the forward position, Wolf stands in a ballistic cape blackened by blood and mud. His eyes are hard as iron. With barely a few dozen soldiers left, he holds the very front of the line. Every single one of them is wounded. Some have makeshift tourniquets still loading ammunition. Others grip machine guns with one hand, the other arm nothing but bandages. My chest tightens. I understand now. These soldiers held this base not for victory, but to secure a safe landing zone for us. "All units prepare to support. Fire coverage on the front line," Commander Reyes bellows. Dozens of Type 100 tanks swing their barrels into position. Fire control systems lock on. Muzzles glow like stars. The next second, boom. Dozens of 120mm armor-piercing rounds fire simultaneously, streaking across the sky like a meteor shower slamming into the heart of the swarm tide. Massive shockwaves unleash towering walls of flame. The mountain-like swarm clusters are torn apart in the inferno. Limbs and chitons spiral through the air. Main guns reloaded. Continue firing. Cannons roar in unison. Machine gun tracers streak across the field. Shell casings rain down. In just 10 minutes, the line stabilizes. The swarm tide collapses in the firestorm. Swarm corpses pile into mountains. Wolf gasps for air, staring at the rows of heavy tanks, eyes filled with awe and gratitude. Thank God, we held. After the fighting dies down, Wolf comes to meet us personally. He stares at the supply truck stacked high with materials and takes a deep breath. "Central Command has issued the order," Wolf says solemnly. "Upon your arrival, you are to proceed with me immediately to Base 001. It is the Republic's core defense line against the swarm and the command nerve center." "Understood." Commander Reyes responds instantly. The convoy's tracks grind back into motion, rolling over scorched earth. The night wind carries the scent of blood, but also a breath of hope. Along the way, I gaze at the ruins lit by distant artillery. My voice is calm but firm. "Wolf, we can stay for 5 days. After that, we go back to prepare more resources, then return to support you." Wolf nods, a weary but genuine smile crossing his face. "It is good to have you here." Then the convoy rumbles toward Base 001. The air hangs thick with cordite. Distant skies occasionally flash with explosions. Meanwhile, inside the Central Command Tower at Base 001, red warning lights pulse non-stop. Supreme Commander Hawthorne stands before a massive holographic sand table in full military dress, his expression grave. On the display, the swarm's offensive spreads from the southeast like a rising tide. Then a comms officer rushes in. "Report!" Docking confirmed. "Successful. They have entered our dimension, currently en route to our base." Hawthorne nods. A faint spark lights in his eyes. "Based on their comms, 5 days maximum. Then we must crack open every possible avenue of technology exchange within those 5 days." Beside him, Chief Scientist Dr. Wren immediately stands and rallies his team to analyze the incoming data. Minutes later, when the supplementary files for the Project Raise Mecha framework appear on screen, the entire research room goes silent for a few seconds, then erupts in near euphoric cheering. "This is the carbon-based energy core, and the frost blue crystal and voidshine stone fusion stability equations." Dr. Wren's hands are shaking. He practically shouts at his assistants. "This is it! This is the missing piece!" Over the past days, wave after wave of swarm attacks had severed their industrial supply lines entirely. Critical materials ran out. Energy dried up. Experiments ground to a halt. Their research had nearly flatlined. But now, the data from the Otherworld Republic is nothing short of a lifeline dropped from the sky. "Immediately! Assemble every mecha research group. Import the new material theory into the Project Raise reactor model." The exhaustion vanishes from Dr. Wren's face. In its place burns a fire he has not felt in a long time. He clenches his fists. Light flashes in his eyes. "If this verification succeeds, we can make the Raise mecha truly stand." Outside the command tower, dawn breaks faintly on the horizon. Wind stirs the flag. The familiar crimson flame on its face ripples in the sunlight. Hawthorne gazes at that flag. His voice is resolute. "Whether in this world or theirs, the Republic has never bowed to fate." Before long, I pass through layer after layer of defense perimeters and finally reach Base 001. The base sits at the border of desert and steel. Anti-aircraft guns, automated cannons, and machine gun emplacements line the perimeter. Patrol drones sweep overhead. And at the main gate, Supreme Commander Hawthorne in his command cape, and the white-haired but sharp-eyed Dr. Wren are already waiting in person. The moment I step out of the vehicle, I see those war-hardened eyes, exhaustion in them, but also a fierce, burning hope. Dr. Sage and Professor Sterling step forward first with a brief salute. Commander Hawthorne, Dr. Wren, we have brought the materials and samples you urgently need. See for yourselves. Dr. Sage gestures toward the trucks behind him. The cargo doors slowly open. Neatly stacked inside are void-shine stone, frost blue crystal, and spirit carbon powder. Blue, white, and silver mineral crystals refract the light into a dreamlike glow, as if the very heart of human civilization is beating. Dr. Wren freezes. Then he rushes forward. His trembling hands reach for the void-shine stone. This energy signature is astonishing, unbelievable. Such a thing actually exists in the universe. He spins around and clasps the hands of Dr. Sage and Professor Sterling, eyes brimming with emotion and gratitude. What you have brought is hope. He can barely contain himself. Take me to the lab. We begin energy reaction testing immediately. There is no time to waste. Not a single second. Dr. Sage, Professor Sterling, and the research team head to the science wing together, launching the first ever cross-world joint research effort. On the other side of the base, Commander Reyes and I follow Hawthorne into the rest area behind the command zone. Along the way, soldiers rush past in every direction. The main screens in the command center flash with red warning zones. Swarm attack vectors blanket nearly the entire coastal defense line. The situation is dire. Hawthorne speaks in a low voice as we walk. The conditions here are rough. My apologies. I smile and shake my head. No need for that, Commander. We are both people who get things done, not stand on ceremony. We exchange a look. Resolve in both our eyes. Hawthorne nods. His tone turns solemn. Thank you for crossing worlds to help us. He pauses. His gaze drifts to the horizon, stained red by artillery fire. His voice drops. Yet it carries an undeniable weight. What you brought may not just be supplies. More importantly, you have made us believe that in this war against the swarm there is still hope. I look at him steadily and speak. Regardless of which world, the Republic never bows to despair. Meanwhile, inside the main research bay at Base 001, the lights burn bright as daylight. 3 figures surround the central holographic projection table. In the 3-dimensional display, a 15-meter raised mecha slowly rotates. Blue energy pulses flicker inside its chest cavity, like an artificial heart. Dr. Sage points to the energy compartment in the chest. His voice is rapid, charged with passion. Your raised mecha architecture is highly advanced, but the energy supply is unstable. Under swarm combat conditions, this short operational time cannot hold a front. If we introduce a frost blue crystal condensation channeling layer and combine it with Voidshine Stone's energy concentration reaction, energy efficiency jumps at least 4-fold. Professor Sterling rapidly pulls up modeling results on the virtual terminal. Between flashing lines of code, the energy curve spikes instantly. See? This design delivers stable output. No more flameouts from energy fluctuations. Dr. Wren watches the two of them work. He looks 20 years younger. He suddenly slams the table. Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant! So Frost Blue Crystal's quantum condensation effect can replace our original energy channeling conduits. We had been using stellar titanium to brute force the pressure containment, which caused severe energy loss. This approach is a perfect complement. Dr. Sage continues working as he speaks. Your stellar titanium is a miracle. Incredible metal strength, excellent flexibility. I wanted to coat its surface with a phosphor-carbon mother ore nanomembrane. That way we boost conductivity and achieve self-healing repair during combat. Dr. Wren's breathing quickens, his eyes shine. If that actually works, then this is not just a mecha. It is a war machine with the characteristics of a living organism. Professor Sterling smiles. He pushes up his glasses. That has always been the goal. The 3 exchange grins. Then, in unison, they reach out and press the energy system fusion test confirmation key. The next second, every light in the lab dims at once. The central reactor model blazes to life, piercing blue light radiating outward in concentric waves along its shell. On the monitoring screens, energy output climbs steadily. Dr. Wren clenches his fists. His voice shakes. It worked. Energy system fusion successful. Dr. Sage allows himself a slight smile. From today, the Raise Mecha truly has a heart. With the model verification complete, all of Base 001's industrial sector roars to life. Factory warning lights switch on one by one. Robotic arms begin to turn. Molten gold pours from furnaces. The air fills with the scent of superheated metal. Construction of the Raise Mecha prototype officially begins. That 15-meter steel titan is finally stepping from blueprint and hologram into reality. Over the past months, the Raise Mecha's core energy system had been the biggest bottleneck. Unstable energy. Low reactor efficiency. The prototype had been forced to sit idle on the production line. But now, with the arrival of 3 miracle materials, Voidshine Stone, Frost Blue Crystal, and Phosphor-Carbon Mother Ore, Dr. Sage and Dr. Wren have jointly cracked the final barrier. The energy pulse core activates and holds stable. The Raise Mecha can finally move. Dr. Sage and Dr. Wren walk side by side through the thundering factory corridor. The clang of steel echoes from every direction. In the distance, the half-built skeleton of the mecha rises slowly under a crane arm. Dr. Sage looks at the colossal frame, his voice carrying genuine respect. Your stellar titanium is an unbelievable material. Extreme hardness, energy impact resistant, and still flexible. To be honest, our side simply cannot produce this metal. When we head back, could we take some samples? Dr. Wren blinks, then smiles. Of course. Stellar titanium is extremely rare here, but compared to the energy technology you have given us, it is nothing. Dr. Sage nods. Do not worry, we will not take much. You still have a swarm to fight. We only need small samples for preliminary research. Once the swarm is defeated, our Republic will formally sign a long-term cooperation agreement. At the words "the swarm is defeated," Dr. Wren falls silent. Beyond the factory walls, the distant horizon glows red with artillery fire. Every flash represents another battle, another round of sacrifices. After a moment, he slowly extends his hand and grips Dr. Sage's tightly. Then we will wait for the day we crush the swarm. Dr. Sage smiles. He returns the grip with equal gravity. That day will come. Just as the Ray's mecha enters its final assembly phase, boom boom, deafening explosions roll in from dozens of kilometers outside the base. Alarms scream across all of Base 001. Every warning light turns red. Another swarm offensive. Target, the critical southeast defense line. Frantic reports flood the comms. Swarm numbers are massive. Possible new heavy armored swarm types detected. Requesting reinforcement! Requesting reinforcement! In the command hall, Hawthorne's face darkens. He rises sharply. Status? The chief of staff answers grimly. The third defense line is being overrun. Estimated 10 minutes to collapse. At the same time, an urgent transmission comes from the research wing. Dr. Wren's voice is a mix of excitement and tension. Report, Commander. In 10 minutes, the Ray's mecha prototype will be ready to launch. Energy core stability has reached operational threshold. We can deploy it for live combat testing. Hawthorne considers for a few seconds, then gives a decisive order. Do it. Tell the front line reinforcements arrive in 20 minutes. They hold that line at all costs for 20 minutes. He turns to the operations commander. Reserve units move out now, full fire support. That line does not fall. Combat units spring into action. Tanks and armored vehicles roar out of the hangars. The ground shakes. Dust clouds catch faint light off the base shield. In the research wing, Dr. Wren, Dr. Sage, and Professor Sterling are pulling marathon shifts. The energy core's blue pulse grows steadier by the minute. The final layer of spirit carbon mother membrane on the mecha's hull is undergoing nanoscale fusion. 98% complete. Energy compartment thermal controls stable. Neural synchronization system online. Finally, a crisp chime sounds. Ray's mecha prototype system ready. Dr. Wren lets out a long breath. He nearly collapses into his chair. He looks up at the 15-meter steel giant before him. It can finally move. Dr. Sage wastes no time. Notify command, the mecha is ready to deploy. Hawthorne's steady voice comes back through the comms. Understood. The Ray's mecha prototype will be piloted by Wolf personally. Target, the southeast defense line. Mission codename Operation Dawnstrike. This is the mecha's first live combat deployment, the first head-to-on strike against the swarm. In an instant, the entire base is electrified. Countless soldiers stop in their tracks, eyes locked on the towering hangar. Inside, the Ray's mecha stands in silence. Blue energy streams flicker inside its chest, as if hope itself has finally opened its eyes. Wolf rushes to the development bay the moment he receives the order. As the heavy alloy hangar doors slowly part, a crushing wall of sound hits him. The 15-meter Ray's mecha stands in the center of the brightly lit hangar. Blue-white energy pulses trace along the seams of its armor. Wolf's breathing quickens involuntarily. Even after 100 battles, he is struck speechless. This is the Ray's mecha? Dr. Wren steps forward, pride and excitement spilling from every word. The main frame is built entirely from stellar titanium. The outer shell is coated with spirit carbon mother membrane, balancing defense and flexibility. The core power source is a new generation fusion reactor. Even under extreme combat conditions, it can operate continuously for an entire week. He pauses. The weapon system runs on a dual platform. Primary weapons, a high-energy laser cannon, and a kinetic railgun. For close combat, it carries a stellar titanium battle axe, capable of cleaving through heavy swarm armor in a single blow. Additionally, the mecha is equipped with short cover and high-mobility leap capabilities. Long-range flight is not yet available. This is a ground assault class unit. Wolf listens carefully, his expression hardened with resolve. Understood. System data synced. I am moving out. Dr. Wren nods. Good luck, Ray's Knight. As the cockpit seals shut, the Ray's mecha's eye beams ignite. Blinding blue light floods the entire hangar. Energy system online. Neural sync rate 98%. All weapons modules unlocked. Ray's mecha Wolf deploying. With thundering footsteps, the Ray's mecha takes its first step. Each stride sends shockwaves through the earth. Dust erupts in massive clouds. Inside the control center, Dr. Sage, Professor Sterling, and Dr. Wren are glued to the screens. Data streams race across the projections. Energy output curves, frame load ratios, stability coefficients, all monitored in real time. Dr. Sage speaks in a measured tone. Begin live combat data recording, full observation, synchronized feedback. Professor Sterling smiles gently. Our child is finally heading to war. Dr. Wren clenches his fist. His eyes blaze. After this battle, the Ray's mecha will no longer be just an experiment. It will become humanity's first blade against the swarm. The southeast defense line. The sky burns with dark red clouds. Artillery tears the night apart. The air reeks of scorched metal and cordite. Burning wreckage and shrieking swarm creatures cover the battlefield. Reinforcements from Base 001 arrived 5 minutes ago, but the situation remains critical. Wave after wave of swarm creatures pour from valleys and fissures in the earth. The heavy armored swarm types, their bodies clad in metallic shells, push through the barrage step by step, closing on the line. All weapons open fire! If they break through, hit them with grenades. Report ammo down to 30%. That thing took a 155 round and is still moving. Every explosion feels like another crack in their spirit. The company commander, face caked with dust, voice shredded raw, still roars, one rule. While we breathe, the line holds. Not one step back. He spins, raises his rifle, and fires round after round into the black wall of swarm creatures. Everyone, target the joints on the heavy armored types. That is their weak point. A savage explosion sends sand and debris flying. The forward trenches are overrun. A tank is flipped into the air by a massive creature. The line is about to break. The commander slams his shoulder comm. Base, we can still hold. Before he finishes, a heavy armored creature's pincer blade rams through the rock wall, shaking the entire position. The commander grits his teeth, musters his last ounce of strength, and shoves an anti-tank grenade straight into the creature's maw. Go back to hell! Boom! The blast deafens every soldier nearby. But through the wall of flame, they can still see. The next wave of swarm creatures is already surging forward. The soldiers stand back to back, faces covered in blood, still holding. Almost out of ammo. Doesn't matter. We still have bayonets. In that moment, only one cry rings across the southeast defense line. Every inch of this land is paid for in blood. While we breathe, the line holds. Just as the swarm is about to swallow the position whole, a deep rumble splits the sky. The sound of air being violently compressed and torn apart. Every head snaps upward. A blazing sphere of blue-white light plummets from the heavens. Across half the combat zone, a 15-meter steel colossus slams into the center of the battlefield. The Ray's mecha, the prototype. It is the mecha. Our mecha is here. The soldiers can barely believe their eyes. The massive frame pulses with energy. The reactor in its chest blazes like a star. The ground craters half a meter on impact. The shockwave blasts the front line of swarm creatures clean off their feet. Inside the cockpit, Wolf grips the control sticks, his voice low and steady. Relax. The cavalry is here. The instant he finishes speaking, the Ray's mecha raises its right arm. Hydraulic boosters fire with a deafening crack. Target locked, heavy armored type. Boom! The stellar titanium battle axe, wreathed in a terrifying arc of energy, cleaves down from above. The heavy armored creature's shell, thick as tank plate, is split clean in half with a single stroke. The axe swings back in a horizontal arc. The air itself splits into a silver shockwave. Dozens of swarm creatures are shredded to pieces in an instant. Then, the shoulder-mounted twin high-energy laser cannons activate. Target swarm cluster zone. Energy converged. Fire! A blinding beam of white light cuts across the battlefield. Swarm creatures melt instantly under the extreme heat. Nothing remains but scorched earth and steam. Wolf's gaze turns ice cold. He kicks the thrusters. The entire mecha leaps into the heart of the swarm. Come on, keep coming. The Ray's mecha becomes a blue-white storm. The battle axe whirls through the air like a colossal grinder. Roaring explosions. Metal crashes against chitin in a deafening chorus. The swarm's advance is forcibly reversed. On the ground, soldiers stare, jaws on the floor. That is our Republic's mecha. My God, that is the true shield of humanity. Ray's mecha outstanding. With the Ray's mecha in the fight, the southeast defense line finally holds. The swarm is forced back. Hope returns to the line. Meanwhile, in the command center at Base 001, live footage of the Ray's mecha flickers across every screen. High-energy beams tear through the swarm. Firelight reflects off every face. Dr. Sage, Professor Sterling, and Dr. Wren watch in breathless silence. After a moment, Professor Sterling cannot help but grin. The combat power is extraordinary. As long as energy holds, the Ray's mecha is humanity's ultimate wall against the swarm. Mass-produce these and our civilization survives. But Dr. Wren does not smile. He removes his glasses, a heavy sigh. In peacetime, the Republic has a full industrial base. Mass-producing the Ray's mecha would be straightforward. But now, he looks at the global situation map on the wall. Vast red zones mark swarm-controlled territory. The world has been nearly consumed. After the swarm erupted, the global supply chain collapsed. Continents fell one after another, barely clinging to survival. Joe was wiped off the map entirely. On the entire planet, only our Republic is still fighting. And even then, our strength fades by the day. Resources dwindling, supply routes cut, infrastructure destroyed. We can barely keep the most basic production lines running, let alone mass-produce mecha. His voice drops. And the most critical issue, the Ray's mecha requires high-grade neural sync adapters. People with ironclad willpower, mental stability, and lightning reflexes. But with war raging everywhere, we simply cannot run a proper screening. Dr. Sage and Professor Sterling exchange a glance, then nod. Dr. Sage speaks in a firm voice. If it is a supply chain problem, once the portal can be maintained long-term, our side can manufacture core components for you directly. Energy modules, armor assemblies, we can supply all of it. Professor Sterling adds, as for neural sync adapters, we can help screen for those too. We will select people with unbreakable will who do not fear sacrifice, and send them to your world to become true Ray's Knights. Dr. Wren jerks his head up. A spark of light flashes in his eyes. You would do that for us? Dr. Sage smiles. He pats Dr. Wren on the shoulder. We are all citizens of the Republic. World does not matter. Professor Sterling nods. We are not just here to help you survive. We are here to end the swarm for good. Dr. Wren's voice nearly breaks. Then, we are counting on you. That night, Dr. Sage, Professor Sterling, and Dr. Wren throw themselves into the next round of technical breakthroughs. The lab lights stay on all night. They tackle every weakness the Ray's mecha exposed in combat: joint energy consumption, neural response delay, thermal energy recovery. Each issue is debated, simulated, and re-simulated. Every parameter adjustment sparks an argument. Every finalized design feels like a gamble with fate. Dr. Sage types at his terminal, talking as he works. Main control server response time needs to improve another 15%. Otherwise, close combat suffers. Professor Sterling frowns. That would spike energy consumption. Heat dissipation cannot keep up. Dr. Wren suddenly cuts in. What if we try dual-layer neural feedback? Use a phosphor-carbon mother-ore energy channeling layer to split the load. Fast and stable. The three of them practically pound the table through an entire night of simulation. By dawn, a new Ray's mecha model takes shape in the holographic display. Faster, more stable, stronger. At the same time, Dr. Wren hands over a thick set of blueprints. These are the manufacturing schematics for neural sync screening equipment. Build them when you get back. Use them to find people whose minds perfectly match the mecha's neural interface. Dr. Sage nods solemnly. He takes the blueprints. Count on it. We will begin screening as soon as we return. On the other side of the base, in the command hall, I stand beside the battle sand table next to Supreme Commander Hawthorne. The room buzzes with activity. Alarms and comms traffic overlap without pause. By all rights, I should not be in a meeting of this rank. But Hawthorne insisted. He is where the hope comes from, Hawthorne had said. The one who holds the portal deserves to hear our war song. Sky Dome Core, the southeast defense line must hold. Earth Vein Core, seal the Northwest Valley. The swarm's main force is massing there. On the massive electronic map, red dots spread like a rising flood. Every confirmation means another section of the defense line is under fire. I stand to the side, watching in silence. A weight I cannot name presses on my chest. When the meeting ends, I step forward. Commander Hawthorne, if the worst should come, you can bring some of your people through the portal to our side. It is safe there. We can take them in. Hawthorne blinks, then smiles. There is no hesitation in that smile, only calm pride. I appreciate the offer, Kai, but defending this land is our duty. If we abandon our homeland just to survive, can we still call ourselves citizens of the Republic? He pauses. His voice drops low, but every word strikes like thunder. A true leader guards the gate. A true king dies with his kingdom. If the day comes when we truly cannot hold, please, in your museums, leave a record for our Republic in this world. An honor that will never fade. I stand frozen. In that moment, what I see is not a general, not a commander. It is the final backbone of an entire dimension. The 5-day window vanishes in a blink. Over these past days, Wolf has barely slept at all. The Ray's mecha under his command has become the sharpest blade on the battlefield. No matter how thick the swarm, the moment the mecha appears, it cuts through like a ship through waves. One pilot, one axe, one city, one town. Every sortie is accompanied by thunderous energy detonations. Every return, the mecha's armor is covered in scorch marks and dried swarm blood. Yet it still stands tall as a mountain. When Rays strikes, the swarm retreats. Those words have already become the battle cry of the defense line. Back at the base, Dr. Sage, Professor Sterling, and Dr. Wren work around the clock. Using the combat data Wolf transmits back, they recalculate the mecha's energy output curves, armor stress distribution, and neural sync feedback delay. A comprehensive Ray's mecha optimization package is finally complete. Once this design goes into mass production, Professor Sterling wipes his dark-circled face, grinning. The swarm could multiply tenfold and it still would not be enough. Dr. Sage lets out a long sigh. If I could, I would stay and keep refining this with you. Dr. Wren pats his shoulder. You have already done more than enough. Go home. Take these results back. Help us keep the hope alive. The portal window approaches. Commander Reyes rallies his squads back into formation. But the equipment they brought is lined up neatly on the base plaza. Dozens of Type 100 tanks and hundreds of crates of supplies and ammunition. I look at it all and smile. Leave these here. You need them more than we do. Hawthorne freezes for a moment, then raises a solemn salute. Thank you. No matter what world you are in, the Republic in this world will always owe you a debt. Wind howls across the base plaza. Sunlight pierces through the haze and glints off the mecha and tanks in brilliant gold. Dr. Sage, Professor Sterling, Commander Reyes, and I stand before the portal. In that moment, there are no grand speeches. Only resolute eyes meeting across two worlds, and a single shared conviction, the Republic, eternal. After returning to Lop Nur, the portal's energy has not yet fully dissipated. Director Kane is already waiting at the exit in person. Good work. How are things over there? Dr. Sage removes his protective gear. Tension still lingers on his face. Overall, it went well. Working alongside their research team, using Voidshine Stone, Frost Blue Crystal, and Phosphor Carbon Mother Ore collected from the zombie world, combined with their incomplete Project Ray's mecha design, we successfully built the prototype and ran a live combat test. At this point, light flashes in his eyes. Combat performance was outstanding. The mecha's defense and firepower both proved capable of suppressing the swarm. In the battle at the southeast defense line, a single deployment turned the tide. Director Kane can barely contain his excitement. He slaps the table. Good. This is a genuine game changer. Dr. Sage's tone immediately turns somber. However, Director Kane's smile vanishes. His gaze sharpens. Go on, Dr. Sage sighs. Their supply chain has been nearly destroyed by swarm attacks. Mecha production capacity is severely limited. Even with our optimization package, they cannot mass produce in the short term. He adds, furthermore, the Ray's mecha requires specialized neural sync adapters. Under wartime conditions, they have no way to conduct systematic screening or training. Director Kane rises. Hands clasped behind his back, he paces the room. After a moment of thought, a thorny problem indeed. No pilots, no production capacity. Even with the technology, nothing moves. Dr. Sage nods. That is why I discussed a new direction with them. Our side, backed by a complete industrial base, handles mecha component manufacturing. We also screen nationwide for people with matching mental and neural profiles. Volunteers only. We organize a cross-world rescue force and send real mecha pilots to fight in the swarm world. The room falls dead silent. A few seconds later, Director Kane draws a deep breath. He nods firmly. Good. That is the spirit of the Republic. When another world is in peril, we do not stand idle. We act. Dr. Sage allows a small smile. Now it all comes down to Kai. Every pair of eyes turns to me. I slowly raise my head. My gaze is steady. I can feel it too. In 7 days I will be able to open a stable portal space, one that can be maintained long-term. We will have a permanent gateway. When Director Kane hears this, joy he cannot suppress spreads across his face. He claps me on the shoulder. His voice brims with genuine admiration. Well done, Kai. What you have opened this time is not just a portal. It is a doorway to hope. The mission report is submitted. An unprecedented classified conference convenes in the capital. Attendance is minimal. Director Kane, General Holt of the Eastern Theater, Marshal Yun of the Western Theater, and several core members of the Republic's Central Strategy Committee. When the jointly signed Project Ray's Mecha Manufacturing System Special Application Report is submitted, the room falls so quiet you can hear pages rustling. 5 minutes later, Central Command approves. Top secret. Immediate launch. Code name, Project Raise. Objective, build a complete mecha manufacturing chain and energy infrastructure. Executing agencies, a nationwide coalition of premier research institutes and military-industrial enterprises. Project directors Dr. Sage and Professor Sterling. This is an initiative capable of reshaping global industrial order. But for security, its public cover is the 6th-gen aerospace vehicle program. Days later, research institutes across the country begin receiving encrypted packages from Central Command, sets of highly compartmentalized blueprints and manufacturing parameters. No one knows what these fragments actually assemble into, but the specifications send shivers down every engineer's spine. This torque rating, our current alloys cannot handle this. This energy reaction curve is insane. Is this not nuclear submarine territory? Who is behind this project? Is this even humanly possible? Every single person is astonished, but no one dares ask. The files are stamped clearly. Classification, top secret. No project details may be disclosed to any outside party. When they dig deeper and discover the 4 key materials involved, voidshine stone, frost blue crystal, phosphor carbon mother ore, and stellar titanium, the entire scientific community is stunned. These 4 materials, since when can our nation produce high-energy substances like these? Voidshine stone? Frost blue crystal? Never even heard of them, yet the parameters exceed every known international theoretical limit. Even the top-tier labs find them unfamiliar. But every single person understands one thing. The Republic is quietly entering an entirely new technological era. Days later, the entire nation shifts into Ray's protocol. Over 1,000 research institutes, tens of thousands of factories, millions of researchers, all working simultaneously under total secrecy. Factories roar day and night. Production orders flood in like a tidal wave. Aviation, metallurgy, electronics, energy, materials, all 5 industrial systems fully mobilized. At the same time, the Republic's Commerce Ministry quietly moves into action. Under the cover of the 6th Gen program, they launch a massive global procurement of rare metals and critical chemical raw materials. Nickel, titanium, iridium, hafnium, rare earths. Prices skyrocket on international markets day after day. Foreign media speculate wildly. Is the Republic secretly developing a next-generation strategic weapon? What are they building? An aircraft or a beast? The Republic's Research Command Center has only one calm directive: increase output. Expand capacity. Project Raise, full speed ahead. Meanwhile, the Neural Sync Adapter screening program for the Raise Mecha is rapidly launched nationwide. The screening device blueprints Dr. Sage's team brought back are classified as the highest priority research project. In remarkably short order, the first batch of screening devices rolls off military production lines. On the outside, they look no different from standard medical equipment, but the core algorithms inside can precisely measure a person's neural reflex intensity, mental resonance frequency, and subconscious energy compatibility. These are the exact metrics that determine whether someone can pilot a Raise mecha. The first round of testing is conducted secretly within the entire military. Millions of active duty soldiers line up for screening across every military region, every special ops unit, every aerospace division. When the results land on Dr. Sage's desk, he falls completely silent. Millions screened. Only dozens qualified. The list is marked with red lines. It reads clearly: A-class adapters, 12, B-class, 31, C-class, 48. Professor Sterling frowns. Far too few. The ratio is less than 1 in 10,000. General Holt reviews the report and sighs. Piloting a mecha truly is not something an ordinary person can handle. Then, he turns to Director Kane. What if we expand the search? Push a full nationwide screening? Director Kane hesitates. A full screening would be too conspicuous. It would raise suspicion. General Holt smiles slightly. Then we give it a different name. A nationwide free health initiative. Director Kane immediately understands. He nods. Good. We proceed with that framework. All screening data links directly to Central Command's encrypted servers, zero leaks. Before long, an unprecedented national health screening quietly rolls out across the Republic. From office workers in major cities to villagers in remote mountain regions, everyone receives the same notice. The nation is launching a free health screening program to upgrade the national health database. The checkup includes numerous tests, but one stands out, a neural reflex and brainwave resonance test. No one knows its true purpose. But behind the scenes, Dr. Sage watches the live data stream on the main display. Dense brainwave curves flicker across the screen. He murmurs, 1.4 billion people. Somewhere in there, we will find souls that can resonate with the mecha. In that moment, every hospital, every military base, every research institute across the Republic is working toward one hidden goal, finding the resonance, those rare individuals whose minds can synchronize with the Ray's mecha. And just as the Republic pushes full speed ahead on the Ray's mecha manufacturing system, under the cover of the 6th-gen aerospace vehicle program, across the ocean, the venue erupts. Immediately after, the Republic's government makes a further announcement, a full-scale new energy strategy, upgrading everything from energy to daily life. At the household level, electric stoves, cooktops, and heating systems will fully replace gas and natural gas appliances and all other fossil fuel equipment. In transportation, next-gen nuclear electric trains, buses, and electric ships are greenlit simultaneously. In industry, zero-carbon electric production chains become standard. For consumers, new energy vehicles, smart homes, and electric tools go mainstream across the board. Overnight, the entire nation enters a true unlimited energy era. The internet goes wild. Electricity costs drop to 100th? That is basically free. Who is going to use gas anymore? Just plug into fusion power. My dad just bought a new gas stove. He saw the news and nearly passed out from rage. Hilarious. The Eagle slaps oil sanctions on us and ends up launching us into a new energy era. What was supposed to be the Eagle's energy chokehold has been flipped on its head by the Republic's fusion technology into the grand opening of a new age of civilization. That night, the sky over Lopnur shines unusually bright. I walk through the base courtyard. Soft ground lights glow underfoot. The breeze carries the scent of sand, but tonight it feels peaceful. Dr. Serena walks beside me. Moonlight catches her hair, soft and warm. I look up at the stars. It started with chips, I say with a smile, making sure every citizen could afford better, cheaper processors, and now, fusion power that everyone can afford. I feel like I am actually helping people live better lives. Dr. Serena tilts her head, chin resting on her hand, eyes sparkling as she watches me. In the night, her smile is like a warm, gentle lamp. She says softly, "It is all thanks to you, Kai." I shake my head with a smile. I just opened a door. The ones who made it all real are the countless people who worked for it. The fusion researchers like Dr. Richmond, the computing experts like Dr. Whitfield, and all the unnamed scientists, workers, and engineers. I gaze up at the star-filled sky. My tone turns firm yet gentle. This light belongs to every citizen of the Republic. While the world is still riding the high of the West River ignition, the pace at Lopnur suddenly shifts to something far more urgent, locking the portal into permanent stability, building a living supply chain to the swarm world, and pushing aid, manpower, and materials through. The first batch of critical Project Ray's mecha components is already loaded onto transport vehicles. Voidshine stone, frost blue crystal, phosphor carbon mother ore, those exotic minerals brought back from the other worlds fill several massive underground warehouses, like a silent mountain of ore awaiting the command. Everything hinges on one moment, the portal holding stable. Door opens, cargo moves, people move. A two-way chain, locked in. Orders come down like iron, to guarantee logistics for the war on the other side. Central Command pulls the elite 81st Divine Might Corps, the garrison force of the Dragon capital itself. Skyark, Starglow, and Crimson Sky, 3 combined arms brigades stand ready. Weapons, supplies, armor, combat engineers, everything in place. Equipped overnight, formed into columns. Leading the charge is General Grayson, commander of the Central Theater. He stands before the assembly ground, eyes cold and piercing, as if he could see straight through the desert. Beside him, Marshal Yun of the Western Theater and General Holt of the Eastern Theater stand shoulder to shoulder. The moment the three clasp hands, it is both a promise and a handoff. General Grayson lets out a laugh. "I am taking an entire corps across to the other side. While I am gone, do not let me come back and find out someone robbed the house." Marshal Yun claps his shoulder, full of confidence. "Relax. We have plenty of ways to hold down the fort. You just focus on the other side." General Holt smirks, a hint of menace behind the humor. "If the Eagle tries anything funny at our doorstep, we will show them something nasty first. If they actually make a move, they will never even think about it again." The three exchange grins. There is lightness in the laughter, but far more resolve. The smiles fade. Gravity settles over everything. Everyone knows this is not a show. This is about the survival of millions. Marshal Yun smiles but cannot hide the weight. If we are talking danger, your side is far more perilous. You are facing the swarm head-on. Inside the command dispatch hall, lights blaze. On the massive theater operations board, dense lines crisscross like a web. Which unit escorts the ore? Which brigade handles mecha component loading? Which engineer battalion sets up temporary power and fuel lines? Which defense company holds the front and secures the rear? Every line is a lifeline. Behind every marker are thousands of lives. Materials are numbered, packed, and encrypted. Transport convoys line up in precise formation. Even ordinary workers' clearance badges are graded by level, issued overnight. Any single weak link could compromise the entire cross-world operation. I stand to the side, eyes sweeping between the transport trucks, the portal glowing blue, and the silhouettes of those three generals. I know that every decision made here will be magnified into reality through my portal. Dr. Serena steps beside me and whispers, "Do not worry. Everyone is ready." I nod. My tone is calm but steady. "We send everything we can. You hold everything you must." Two worlds, each doing their part. Wind whips across Lopnur, howling through the sand. Flags snap in the gale. Armor reflects the vast sky above. This is not a performance, not a display. This is mobilization. A handoff, an oath. The door is about to open. The road must be cleared. The lights must come on. The fire must be lit. Marshal Yun takes one last look at General Grayson. His voice is low but powerful. "Those who march out are the Republic's backbone. Those who stay guard the homeland." The moment arrives. I take a deep breath, raise my hand, and in an instant, the entire underground space at Lopnur ignites in blue-white brilliance. A dazzling energy vortex takes shape in the air. The portal opens fully. It stands like a curtain of pure light held open by a deep resonant hum. Space warps around it. The air tastes of metal and electricity. Duran and I step through first. Light swirls beneath our feet. Our figures vanish into the blue depths. The swarm world. Base 001. Supreme Commander Hawthorne is already on site. The moment he hears the frontline report that the portal has opened, he practically rushes out of the command center. When the familiar blue-white light flashes across the clearing, and two figures emerge from the gateway, a smile he has not worn in a long time crosses his face. "You are here." But quickly, he furrows his brow. "Just the two of you?" I smile, a spark in my eyes. "Of course not. This time, it is a permanent link." I lower my voice, pride slipping through. "We have a surprise for you." Before I finish speaking, on the other side at Lopnur, bugles blare, steel thunder rolls. General Grayson's roar echoes across the command frequency. "Divine Might Corps, follow me into battle." A deafening chorus answers back, "Yes, sir." The sound rolls across Lopnur like thunder. Skyark Brigade leads the charge. Column after column of Type 100 tanks, self-propelled guns, howitzers, and long-range rocket launchers. Engines roar, tracks churn, dust billows. An iron flood surges toward the portal. The thunder of engines, flashes of light, and barked commands weave together into a cross-world epic. The first tanks punch through the portal. Starglow Brigade and Crimson Sky Brigade follow. The entire corps floods into the swarm world like a tidal wave. Outside the swarm world Republic's central command zone, the vibrations nearly shake the ground apart. Hawthorne watches with his own eyes as one steel war machine after another, each bearing the Divine Might insignia, rolls out of the light. Blue light reflects off every plate of armor, like steel titans stepping onto a reborn battlefield. His throat goes dry, his voice is hoarse, almost trembling. "Thank you, truly." In this moment he understands, this is not mere aid. Another world's republic has entrusted its most critical frontline force to them. No matter how strong the other republic is, a corps like this cannot be easy to spare. Sending even one is an extraordinary commitment. As the last armored vehicle of the Divine Might Corps passes through the blue-white glow, on the other side of the portal, the rumbling has not stopped. Immediately after, a second wave of transport trucks arrives. Headlights stretch into a dragon of light, illuminating the swarm world's night sky. One military truck after another rolls out of the portal, fully loaded. Inside the cargo holds, neatly stacked metal frames and energy modules, the core components of the Ray's mecha. Crane arms lift. Locks release. The air fills with the scent of cold metal and hot grease. Dr. Wren rushes forward, eyes shining with undisguised excitement. I pull off my gloves and say with a grin, "Time was tight. Our production lines only had time to rush out enough parts for 5 mecha." Dr. Wren freezes, then blurts out, "5 units in that short a time?" The shock hits him hard. His eyes land on the crates labeled Phosphor Carbon Mother Ore Core and Voidshine Stone Reactor Chamber. He knows each one represents a miracle that crossed worlds. Batch manufacturing of full mecha components in mere days. That means the other republic has not only stabilized cross-world transport, but has achieved miraculous industrial output. He presses his lips together. "Your republic is formidable beyond words. If our supply chain had not been torn apart by the swarm, perhaps we could have stood side by side as equals." I shake my head with a smile. "We already are, just separated by one door." Just as Hawthorne thinks the transport is finished and prepares to order the perimeter corridor sealed, another wave of rumbling erupts from the other side of the portal. The blue-white gateway flickers violently. Then, truck after truck continues to roll out. Heavy anti-shock tarps cover the cargo. Bold red letters on the sides read, "Special Military Aid Shipment." Crane arms peel back the canvas, revealing neatly stacked missile crates, artillery shells, autocannon magazines, anti-armor launchers, and even new type energy rounds and EMP cannon modules. Hawthorne freezes. He is almost speechless. All of these are, I explain with a calm but bold voice. This is the Republic's military aid package. Weapons, ammunition, energy supplies, mecha components, and emergency medical equipment is in the trucks behind. Everything we could send, we sent. In that moment across the swarm world, the Republic soldiers rise to their feet, watching row after row of armored transport trucks roll in from across worlds. Every eye glistens with tears. Meanwhile, on the other end of Blue Star, countless munitions factories roar day and night. Steel flows, sparks fly. Assembly lines beat in rhythm, forming a mechanical symphony. Inside one weapons production hall, 2 workers mutter as they work. Weird. We used to run at minimum output. How come everything just went to max capacity? Feels like we are gearing up for a major war. You do not know? Word is the top brass is planning something big. Either we are going after the Eagle, or... He lowers his voice with a sly grin. We are fighting aliens. Aliens? Come on, get real. They both laugh. What they do not know is that joke is terrifyingly close to the truth. The war is just not in this world. Every bolt they tighten, every shell they load, will cross through a gateway between worlds to support another world. A republic being devoured by the swarm. As Hawthorne watches the endless stream of trucks pour into the base, he finally lets himself smile. It is the kind of smile that comes from too long under pressure, a mix of relief and emotion. Thank you. His voice trembles ever so slightly. Thank you for this aid. The Republic will never forget. Before the words finish, the base alarm screams to life. Harsh red lights spin and flash. The speakers blare. Warning. Massive swarm formation detected to the southwest. Numbers exceeding 1 million, closing on the defense line. Hawthorne's face darkens instantly. This is bad. Before he can issue an order, a steady, commanding voice rings through the war room. Commander Hawthorne. General Grayson stands fully suited up, combat cape draped over his shoulders, expression cold as iron. The southwest defense line. The Divine Might Corps will take it. Hawthorne freezes. He immediately shakes his head. No. You came from another world to help us. I cannot send you to the most dangerous front. But General Grayson steps forward. His voice hits like thunder. Danger? So what? He lifts his chin toward the blood-red zone on the tactical map, eyes blazing. Even though we come from different dimensions, we are all citizens of the Republic. He roars the words that shake the entire hall. Same roots, same blood, same soul. As long as we carry the Republic's name, we fight together to protect tomorrow's dawn. The next second, the base-wide broadcast blares. Divine Might Corps. Full deployment. Yes, sir. Thunder erupts like a flash flood. Tank engines scream. Heavy artillery vehicles roll into formation. Mechanized infantry scramble aboard. General Grayson stands atop the lead Type 100 tank, command saber raised. His silhouette stands resolute against fire and dust. Move out! An iron flood surges forward. The portal's fading blue glow illuminates the entire defense zone's night sky. An army from another world's republic marches toward war for its people. Hawthorne watches the steel tide vanish into the distance. His throat clenches. He can only murmur, "They really are our people." I stand beside him, eyes deep, heart surging with fire and respect. The Southwest Front. War rages without end. Smoke and blood mist blend together. The defense line teeters on the edge of collapse. Over the radio, hoarse pleas for help repeat again and again. This is the Southwest Defense Line, 3rd Combat Group. Requesting reinforcement. Repeat, requesting reinforcement. The only answer is the deafening roar of the swarm. Captain, ammo is almost gone. Hold. Before the word finishes, a young soldier rips off his helmet. He flashes a grin, blood-stained teeth showing. Captain, take care of my mom for me. Tiger, what are you doing, you idiot? But the boy has already grabbed a machine gun and a satchel charge and charged out of cover. He fires and screams a battle cry, his voice swallowed by gunfire. Seconds later, a deafening explosion tears through the swarm. The shockwave kicks up a wall of dust. Flesh and shattered chitin rain down. Tiger! The captain's scream rips through the trench. He knows that boy just traded his life for a few dozen seconds of breathing room. Command, we are about to fall. The western position has been breached 3 layers deep. Requesting orders! The captain screams into his headset. His voice is swallowed by the concussion of explosions. Soot and blood cover his face. He knows the entire nation is in the fight. Northwest, southeast, the swarm pours in like an ocean. Every inch of soil is being fought for with everything they have. Then, a steady voice cuts through the static, carrying a calm, anchoring strength. This is Supreme Commander Hawthorne. Reinforcements have been dispatched. They will reach your sector within 10 minutes. Hold your ground. If the situation becomes untenable, you are authorized to conduct an orderly withdrawal from the outer perimeter. Preserve the flame. The captain's body jolts. He stares at the churning swarm tide in the distance and slams a fist against his chest plate. You hear that? Supreme Command says hold. Every last one of you, hold this line. The roar sets every soldier's blood on fire. They clench their jaws. They reload. Even with trembling arms, even with every breath tasting of blood, they raise their weapons and aim at the black tide, the southwest defense line. Smoke billows. That battered squad holds on through sheer grit and fury. With nearly spent ammunition, grenades, and shells, they somehow force back thousands of swarm creatures in just minutes. The swarm only pulls back temporarily, but for soldiers already pushed past their limits, even a few minutes of rest feels like being reborn. The captain leans against the shattered barricade, drenched in blood, gasping, watching the swarm shadows churn ahead. Can the reinforcements still make it? he murmurs, a trace of helplessness in his voice. Just then, 20 kilometers back, inside the command vehicle, General Grayson stands in his ballistic cape. At the forward edge of the armored column, his voice booms like thunder. All units, battle formation. Target, swarm front, 20 kilometers southwest sector. Rocket artillery groups, load. 155 heavy artillery arrays, prepare volley fire. 115 main guns, vehicle-mounted mortars, truck-mounted artillery, all weapons free. Thermobaric rounds, thermite rounds, white phosphorus incendiaries, everything. Maximum firepower. Yes, sir. In mere seconds, every heavy gun across Skyark, Starglow, and Crimson Sky, all 3 brigades, rises in unison. Load, ignite, recoil. Over 1,000 barrels roar at once. The earth shakes to its core. The entire desert erupts into rolling seas of fire. Blast waves throw dust clouds 100 meters high. Even the air itself turns red. On the front line, the soldiers are bracing for the swarm's next wave when they hear a sound they've not heard in a long time, the shriek of incoming artillery. The next second, the entire horizon is swallowed by fire. Shockwaves slam into them. Flames paint every soldier's eyes red. Swarm creatures are blasted apart. Limbs cartwheel through the air. The earth trembles under the barrage. The captain stares at the burning swarm tide. He smiles, smiling until tears pour down his face. Ha! They are here. The reinforcements are here, he murmurs, voice shaking. I thought I would never see this again. Since the swarm erupted, since the supply chains collapsed, saturation bombardment of this magnitude had become nothing but a memory. But now, the fire is burning again. Artillery once again drowns out the swarm's howls. In that moment, they finally see it again. The Republic's iron flood, roaring back to life. The smoke from the barrage is not yet cleared when new thunder rolls in. At the edge of the horizon, the swarm surges once more. A black ocean. That dense crawling, the shrieks, the buzz of a million vibrating wings, as if the air itself is being ripped apart. Captain, the swarm is coming again. The scorched no-man's land from the barrage is already being refilled by countless swarm creatures, like a tide crawling out of hell. 20 kilometers to the rear, inside the Divine Might Corps command hub. General Grayson leans on the tactical sand table, eyes sharp as a hawk's. Drone feeds show the frontline garrison is severely undermanned, ammo critically low. The line could be swallowed at any moment. He gives a cold, precise order. Order Sky Brigade to deploy the Lionheart Battalion to the front immediately. Additionally, artillery support does not stop. Let us see if they have more bugs, or we have more guns. Yes, sir. After the order drops, the battlefield erupts again. Countless tongues of flame spit outward. The sky is sliced by blazing trajectories. The swarm is once again flipped into charcoal and blood mist. The soldiers on the line watch the wall of fire and feel something they have not felt in a long time. Satisfaction. Ha! You vermin finally got what is coming. Captain Maddox raises his rifle, covered head to toe in ash. He grins, but his brow stays tight. Suddenly a soldier sprints over. Captain, our reinforcements are here. What? Captain Maddox looks up. In the distance, dust billows. A column of steel is charging toward them. Dozens of Type 100 tanks, heavy armored vehicles, tactical infantry formations, and iron floods sweeping in. Gun barrels gleam. Minutes later, the two forces link up at the front. I am Captain Maddox, holding this position. Captain Ashford, Lionheart Battalion, Skyark Brigade. At that designation, Captain Maddox freezes. Divine Might Corps? I have never heard of that unit. Captain Ashford offers a slight smile. We are from another world's republic. In that moment, even the wind goes still. Captain Maddox stands frozen for a long time. Then he breaks into a grin, grinning until his eyes fill with tears. I do not care which world's republic you are from. If you are here to fight beside us, you are brothers. He extends a hand caked in blood and mud. Captain Ashford grips it immediately, firm and steady. Captain Maddox's throat tightens. In recent weeks, too many comrades have died beside him. He had believed no one could save them anymore. But now he finally sees another group, wearing the same Republic uniform, walking out of the firelight toward him. In that moment, he finally feels it. Someone has come. Someone has come to hold up the Republic's sky with them. With Captain Ashford's Lionheart Battalion in the fight, the crumbling defense line finally holds. Firelight scorches sky and earth into a single sheet of red. Mecha and armored vehicles roar in unison. Shell casings clink on the ground like an iron war song. In the rear command vehicle, General Grayson watches the drone feed. The swarm stretches endlessly, still churning. His brow furrows. These things just will not quit. A cold smile. He slaps the table. Relay my order. Pull the artillery line back 2 kilometers. Thermobaric rounds, full barrage. The staff officer hesitates. General, after this volley, ammunition might... General Grayson cuts him off. His tone is cold steel. Do not worry about ammo. Resupply is already coming through the portal at full speed. Tell the gunners, today, we feed the swarm until it chokes. Yes, sir. Minutes later, across the swarm front, light links into a solid wall. The sky turns completely red. Thermobaric rounds detonate. The air itself catches fire. Fuel air clouds erupt at the blast centers. Shockwaves sweep across kilometers. One small mushroom cloud after another blooms across the horizon. The blasts shake heaven and earth. The ground is ripped open. Swarm creatures are shredded by heat and pressure. Even the blood mist is sucked into the scorching blast waves and reduced to a charred vacuum. On the front line, Captain Maddox wipes the dust off his face, eyes wide with shock. What the? This firepower is insane! Are your shells powered by a nuclear reactor or something? Captain Ashford beside him chuckles. Those are thermobaric rounds. They create a fuel-air cloud that mixes with oxygen to form an explosive layer. The secondary detonation generates extreme heat and a shockwave that consumes all the oxygen in the area. In simple terms, anything that survives that is either swarm or something worse. Captain Maddox sucks in a breath. Back at the rear, General Grayson issues another order. Vehicle-mounted guns and heavy fire teams, push forward. Carpet sweep all remaining swarm forces. Yes, sir. Thousands of vehicle-mounted machine guns roar forward, metal ammo belts glinting cold in the light. Lines of fire weave an airtight net, shredding the remaining swarm to pieces. The southwest defense line finally holds. In the base command hall, a string of red warning lights begins to turn green one by one. The tension in the air slowly, finally, starts to ease. Hawthorne lets out a long, heavy breath. He looks like he has aged years in an instant. Over the past 6 months, the Republic had been besieged on all fronts. When the swarm erupted in the northwest, he pulled a quarter of the nation's field forces to contain it. When the southeast coast fell, he dispatched another quarter as reinforcements. The remaining scattered forces had to be spread across the interior and borders, propping up defense lines on the verge of collapse. The front had been stretched thinner than anyone had imagined possible, and last time, a swarm breakthrough had pushed to within 15 kilometers of the base, nearly reaching the Republic's last command center. If the Ray's mecha prototype had not arrived just in time, fighting desperately to hold the line, this command center would already be rubble. But that was only one mecha. For a nation fighting on every front, it was a drop in the ocean. At this thought, Hawthorne shakes his head. His eyes return to the holographic map. Thank God, he says softly. A faint tremor in his voice. Thank God you came when you did. He looks up at me and bows deeply. Thank you. You truly saved us. I reach out and steady him. My voice is firm. Commander Hawthorne, we share the same roots. We are all sons and daughters of the Republic. The ones who truly deserve thanks are the soldiers still fighting on the front lines. They are the backbone holding this land together. Hawthorne pauses, then slowly nods. Yes, they are the true heroes. He turns to the electronic casualty board on the wall. Cold numbers tick upward without pause. Each tick is a life extinguished. In that moment, the Supreme Commander carrying an entire nation's survival on his shoulders lets his gaze dim, but he murmurs, as long as there is breath in us, we hold. Hawthorne's eyes land on the 5 sets of Ray's mecha components. The metal parts gleam softly under the lights, like silent hope. He reaches out and gently touches a stellar titanium armor plate. His voice is low but full of strength. The mecha components you brought are beyond invaluable. Right now, we can barely build a single complete mecha. The supply chain has been torn apart by the swarm. Energy and materials are critically short, but with these parts we only need to assemble. 5 more Ray's mechas will see the light of day. Beside him, Dr. Wren has long since given up on rest. He leads researchers and combat engineers through the night. Move the Voidshine Stone capacitor units into Lab 2. Careful with the vibration. The frost blue crystal energy conduits need to be preheated to 300 degrees before docking. Orders fly back and forth. The entire assembly zone blazes with light. Robotic arms swing overhead. Welding sparks fly. In that moment, the air fills with the scent of hope renewed. I stand at the operations console, eyes on the blueprints, reporting. Our side is simultaneously screening for neural sync adapters. The numbers are not encouraging. Out of millions of military personnel, fewer than 100 qualify. Extrapolating that ratio, once the national screening is complete, we estimate roughly 10,000 qualified reserve mecha pilots. That is the most optimistic projection. I turned to Hawthorne. Before I left, our leadership already ordered full support for the Swarm World Republic. Mecha pilots, energy supplies, war materials. Whatever we can mobilize, we send. Hawthorne is visibly shaken. He straightens to attention. He bows. We are grateful beyond measure for your aid. On our end, we have a few dozen reserve mecha pilots, but against a front this vast, they are a drop in the ocean. The real problem is not pilots. It is not having enough mecha. I nod and respond immediately. We are already working on that. Our Ray's mecha production line has just launched. Capacity is ramping up. Within a month, we project 100 units per month. Within 3 months, over 1,000 per month. We will prioritize shipping a portion of finished mecha to you. When Hawthorne hears this, a light he has not shown in ages flashes in his eyes. Outstanding. With enough mecha, we can stabilize the situation, and when our adapter pool runs short, we hope your side can send a batch of pilots. I smile. My tone is absolute. Count on it. We are one republic. However many you need, we send. On the other side of the base, the research wing burns through the night. Dr. Wren pulls off his protective gloves. His palms are slick with sweat and dotted with burn marks. But he does not dare stop for even a second. Push harder, he shouts, voice raw. Every hour we shave off, one more life is saved on the front. Steel thunder echoes through the workshop. Welding sparks shower like falling stars. Technicians work with bloodshot eyes, pushing through exhaustion, racing against time in the heat and noise. Transport cranes slowly swing. A massive stellar titanium chest plate is mounted onto the mecha frame. The Voidshine stone core locks firmly into the energy chamber. Frost blue crystal conduits emit a deep blue glow. Phosphor carbon mother ore energy veins spread across the entire mecha frame, like injecting a living circulatory system. Meanwhile, on the front line, Wolf pilots the only operational Ray's mecha, still grinding through the swarm tide. The mecha's surface is covered in battle scars. The energy shield triggers, warning after warning. But he refuses to pull back. Just a little longer. Once the new mecha arrive, the line will hold. He grits those words through clenched teeth. The stellar battle axe carves through the sky. One swing. Dozens of swarm creatures burst into ash. Burning swarm blood splatters across the armor, painting the steel titan crimson. Wolf's voice comes through the comms, low and resolute. I can hold. Rays can still fight. Then at last, good news from the base. Under the combined effort of Dr. Ren and dozens of manufacturing experts and researchers, 5 brand new Rays mechas are officially complete. The technicians who worked through the night collapse to the floor, staring at those 5 towering steel giants standing proud under the lights. Tears fill their eyes. This is our miracle. In the pilot reserve area, deployment is quiet. No one fights for glory, no one demands to go first. Every qualified adapter silently yields the controls to the 5 best suited. Go. Carry our fury. Fight back for all of us. A few short words, yet they hit like a silent oath. Before dawn, base 001. 5 Rays mecha stand fully armed. Armor gleams. Energy cores burn bright and fresh. Rays 2 through 6 deploy. At the command, 5 colossal silhouettes rocket skyward. Dust erupts across the ground. They tear through the night, hurtling toward the most critical front. I stand on the base overlook, watching those Rays mechas trailing blazing contrails, charging into the swarm front without hesitation. I say nothing for a long time. I just take a deep breath and murmur, it is because of them that a million homes' lights stay on. Wind whips sand across my weary face, but cannot hide the respect in my eyes. On the front line, the battlefield burns bright as day. Wolf's mecha stands alone amid the ruins. The steel frame is covered in scars. The energy shield has long since shattered. He grits his teeth, gripping the charred stellar battle axe. Every swing triggers a shrieking energy overload alarm. A comrade's voice screams over the radio, Wolf, pull back. Leave this to us. Wolf roars back. You think I am an idiot? If I pull out, you are all sitting targets for the swarm. Another soldier, eyes red, watches the screen. The mecha's armor plates are webbed with cracks. Internal temperature climbing fast. Wolf, you really cannot keep going. Mecha pilots are too rare. The Republic needs you alive. A brief silence. Wolf tightens his grip on the control sticks. His fingertips tremble. He knows the words are true. Every qualified mecha pilot is a national treasure. But he also knows that if he retreats, everyone here dies. I cannot stand watching you die for me. We live together, or we die together. With that, he lets out a roar and launches the mecha skyward once more. The battle axe sweeps in a wide arc. Blood and fire merge into a hellscape. But then, just as the swarm is about to swallow him whole, boom, another massive silhouette drops from the sky. A fresh stellar battle axe blazes with blue light, cleaving straight through the oncoming swarm wave. Sir, I am here to back you up! A young, resolute voice rings through the comms. Wolf freezes for a beat. His nose stings. He lets out a hoarse laugh. You finally made it! The moment those words leave his mouth, he loses consciousness from total exhaustion. The new mecha pilot takes over his position. Arms raised, the pilot unleashes a chain of devastating strikes. The swinging axe tears through the swarm tide. He pulls Wolf to safety, then pushes back to the front. Fighting on, he whispers under his breath, Rest now, Wolf. The front line is ours. In that moment, across every channel on the battlefield, countless voices shout the same words, the flame endures. The Republic lives forever. Inside the base, lights burn through the night without pause. Dr. Ren has just finished the final calibration on 5 Rays mechas. Before he can even catch his breath, the portal flares to life again. Thud, thud, thud. One massive transport truck after another rolls out of the blue-white energy vortex. Cargo doors swing open. Neatly stacked inside, a fresh batch of mecha components. Quantity, enough for 10 units. The air itself seems to tremble under the weight of all that steel. Dr. Ren stares at truck after truck of materials, stunned and overjoyed. His lip twitches. Finally, he just slaps his own forehead with a weary grin. Well, that is a luxury problem to have. His assistant nearly doubles over laughing. Doctor, only you could say something like that. You realize these components are the product of hundreds of thousands of people working together in the other world. Thousands of research institutes and tens of thousands of factories running at full capacity to produce just this one shipment. Another researcher hauls a crate and sighs. Exactly. With our world's production capacity, we could barely scrape together a single set, and now they are shipping them over in bulk like it is going out of style. With upgrades, no less. The entire workshop buzzes with excitement. All right, less talking, more working. Dr. Ren waves his hand. Starting now, 24-hour non-stop assembly. Get these machines to the battlefield as fast as possible. Welding sparks fly. Machines thunder. Scientists and combat engineers, master technicians and apprentices all work side by side. They know that every hour saved means one less life lost on the front. Meanwhile, on the other side of the portal, the supply command center at Lopnor has not stopped for a single second. Weapons, ammunition, medicine, and fuel are packed non-stop, loaded, and sent through the gateway. In the Swarm world, the Sky Dome Corps on the southeast defense line and the Earth Vein Corps in the northwestern valleys have endured grueling, prolonged combat. They are exhausted beyond measure. At the frontline command post, the general's voice is raw. If this keeps up, we will be completely dry on ammo. What then, fix bayonets against the Swarm? How are we supposed to fight this war? The staff officer has no answer. The mood in the room is heavy enough to drown in. Outside, the artillery has already gone quiet. Gun crews lie on the ground, clearing spent casings. The despair of running dry is about to swallow the entire line. Then, in the distance, engine noise. A deep rumble. One truck after another smashes through the dust and rolls into the position. Before the dirt even settles, the steel doors fly open. Crate after crate of 155 heavy shells hits the ground. Boxes stamped Republic strategic support materials pile into small mountains. Behind them on the road, a dragon-length column of rocket launchers rolls in, taillights forming a river of red steel. The commander freezes for a few seconds. Then he slams the table and bursts out laughing. I see hope! The moment the first round of resupply ammo is loaded, the Sky Dome and Earth Vein Core roar back to life like a beast woken from a long sleep. Howitzers shatter the night sky once more. Rocket salvos rain into the swarm like a meteor shower. Thermobaric blasts bloom one after another into mushroom clouds along the horizon. Above, unmanned bombers sweep in at low altitude. Precision-dropped high-explosive rounds link into a solid wall of fire. As if heaven and earth are burning as one. The swarm surges forward only to be blasted into nothing in the hellfire. Blood and smoke dissolve into rolling ash. A soldier, face blackened by cordite, wipes the soot from his eyes and screams at the top of his lungs. We have ammo. All weapons fire at will. The next second, the entire front erupts in unison. Artillery fills the sky. Mountains and rivers tremble. The ground roars. The air shakes. It is the united fury of two republics. The iron will of two worlds forged into a single echo. With fire and steel, across a land ravaged by the swarm, humanity reclaims the border of hope. Meanwhile, deep in the swarm world republic's heartland, hospitals blaze with light, yet the air is thick with anguish. Outside the operating rooms, stretchers roll in one after another. Blood-soaked bandages, charred fragments of armor. Each one tells the story of the front line's brutality. The hospital director stands at the end of the corridor, looking at rows of makeshift beds crammed with wounded. His brow is twisted tight. These people are all heroes, but even heroes need someone to save them. And we are almost out of medicine. The chief surgeon hurries over. Urgency fills his voice. Director, hemostatic injections and antibiotics are nearly gone. At this rate, many critical patients will not make it through the night. Then requisition from other hospitals. Commandeer it if you have to. The surgeon shakes his head with a bitter smile. I have called several. They are all the same. No one has medicine to spare. The director slumps against the wall. He murmurs, are even we, the medical staff, going to be trapped and die in this swarm disaster? The air goes still. Only the beeping of monitors breaks the silence. Then, from outside, the roar of truck engines. Hot tears roll down, thank God. They are saved. Our heroes are saved. The entire hospital erupts. Nurses sprint with medicine carts. Doctors find new strength. In the wards, soldiers who had been fading hear familiar voices again. On the charts, blood oxygen up 3 points. Do not be afraid, brother. We have medicine now. You are going to live. That night, the surgical lights never go dark. From the burning front lines to the depths of the hospitals, hope reignites. On the other side, Blue Star. Since the Portal Initiative launched, the Republic's pace is quietly accelerated. Massive deployments of troops in Mecca pour into the swarm world. In just half a month, the swarm is crushed into complete disarray. The swarm's hive capital even raises a white flag begging to surrender. But an alien species can never be trusted. The nation orders total eradication.